everyone. Hello and welcome to Edge of Legend. Yes, me and Sidney are twinsies now. So
How nice.
yeah. This is going to be just a fun, chill episode. This is our post-mortem for season 1. This is the Q&A. If you have any questions to anyone here, the players, the GM, if you have questions or just want to shoot the shit with us, let's shoot the shit. Look, we're all having a good time hanging out. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do a quick round off. Let's talk about what you're drinking, starting with Sam. Sam, what are you drinking right now?
Hello, I'm Sam Sterling, and I'm drinking alcohol. I have a oh wait, you have to see the full effect. So this is my mushroom cup.
That's
It's
so cute.
very cute. It is filled with in honor of Ichi, the Ichi special. It's Mexican hot chocolate with espresso, a little bit of peppermint cream liqueur, and then I have a pound of dried marshmallows that just periodically through the stream I'm gonna be so I'm doing great. Yeah,
Love to hear it.
know.
That sounds delightful.
I like that you're using marshmallows as like a chaser. Like,
Oh my God, we just got a level 5 hype train. Thank you everyone in the chat who gave. Thank you so much for the love, you guys. We love you too.
So are you gonna throw Kurkos again at us during this Q&A?
God damn it.
It's like, okay, well, that's the hype train level 5 surprise. Korokos has come back. Everyone roll initiative. I lied. This was an ambush.
Find your dice.
Find your dice. Oh, fuck, where's my dice? Awesome. Well, speaking of dice, Sidney, what you drinking tonight?
Oh, I'm drinking hot toddy.
Nice.
Yeah. I have this mix that my parents got me for my birthday because they know I love hot toddies, and it's from like Oliver and it's called Oliver and Pluff Company, which is like a colonial tea brand that specializes in old tea recipes and things like that. So it's pretty dang good, and I'm pretty happy. Yeah. Ooh, I also got this other tea from them. Oh, do you like my mug?
Yeah, show off the mug.
My favorite mug.
Stay wild, Moonchild. Love it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. They have this tea called Boohee, which is like a colonial style tea that literally smells like wood smoke, like fire.
Ooh, nice.
It's a black tea. It's amazing.
That sounds amazing. My God.
List.
I want that. So Ian, 2 questions, because the chat asked this: who would win in a fight, my beard or your beard? And honestly, I'm giving your beard that advantage, major advantage. And secondly, what are you drinking?
Here's the thing: the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So we'll leave it to the ring. But tonight I started before the stream with a hot toddy, and then I am right now drinking a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, and I have a Shiner Holiday Cheer and a 8-year-old Isla Sky whiskey.
The lineup.
So
getting turned up tonight.
Might as well.
Hey, look, man. In vino veritas. You know, the more beers we have, the more honest and accepting that we become.
Right. I don't have to worry about playing a drunk. I can just be one.
Yeah. Very true.
When life imitates art.
Method.
Michael Powell, what you drinking tonight?
Well, I think we're all drinking something that kind of based on our characters. So I pour myself a little glass of wine. This is a Castello del Diablo Cabernet. And also, along with that, I made a shark coochie board.
Michael.
Ooh, that's gorgeous.
Oh my
Those look
God.
really
Is that
good,
a pretzel roll?
No, this is a, let's see, there's Gouda cheese, salt and vinegar almonds, beef sticks, dry persimmon, dark chocolate, and this is just like a loaf of bread.
It looks so good.
Looks amazing though. Holy crap.
With
No,
the
I'm
shark.
hungry.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Dude, I'm so mad. I had like 2 chicken cutlets and like nacho cheese and chips. That's what I ate. Like a scrub.
Someone
college
Postmate that
student.
man some wings or something.
Look, if you want my address, just send me a private message. Just send me the food. It's okay.
Danger zone.
That's yeah. I was about to say.
Look, I don't mind if you come and stab me. Just bring food when you do it.
Right.
That's all I ask.
Well,
It'll be your last meal, but it'll be enjoyed.
yeah, you have to caveat what they have to let you eat it first.
Right.
Yeah.
Kylie, I
Like-
bet you would know that sound where it's like, you kid, stab, like choking is okay.
It's a-okay.
Oh,
Yep.
and
Thanks for
Oh,
Rick and
man.
Morty.
I-
You can
is
punch
it?
me, slap me, like stab me in the face. Punching is on the table.
Oh no, that's
Something like
from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's the crazy guy
it?
who goes,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
It's Rosa's
The one that, like,
boyfriend.
Mhm.
yeah. And he's like, listen, I draw a line, it's at kids. I don't kill kids at all unless they're dicks. And then I'll definitely kill them. And
Oh,
Yep.
This is my first time tasting it, so I'm just gonna do a little taste if you don't mind.
go right ahead.
Mm-hmm. Here's some Molly Michael. You.
Medium bodied.
Oh my god.
Ooh, okay.
Oh my
I'm
god.
getting some dried plums,
Mm-hmm.
some cherry, some cherry there with
Mhm.
I kind of want to say a kind of a light herbal finish. Not
Hmm.
bad. Medium tannins.
Would you say the texture is a bit dry or more on the buttery side? Some reds tend to end on the buttery side.
Kind of a medium full body. Around that.
Sounds
Yeah.
delightful.
Also classy.
AKA, I'm also reading what it's written here on the website.
I've got.
You
I've
got
got-
me. Oh my god.
You're saying you all are so classy. I got 2 beers and a whiskey on the table.
Yeah. Look,
Good.
and I'd be right there with you if I had any whiskey, and I really wish I had some whiskey here, but
Listen, you just need one bourbon, one scotch, and one beer, Ian, and then
Right.
you're all set.
that's right.
Honestly.
That's right. I remember the last time I had a bourbon, a scotch, and a beer. No, bourbon, whiskey, beer. I forgot. God damn, the song you just mentioned, Sidney. My brain.
I
is
need a
not
whiskey
working.
drink. I need a lager drink. What other songs can we?
It's like a whiskey drink. I don't know. But that being said, speaking of drinking, Kylie, what are you drinking?
Hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate.
That's it.
That's dope.
No.
There's like
I wish.
half a bottle of peppermint liqueur in there.
We're drinking
Oh,
almost
see.
the
Okay,
same
so you're drinking
thing.
peppermint liqueur with a side of hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. What with that?
I'll
Absolutely.
mail you some of my marshmallows.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll be waiting.
Okay, so that being said, we're all talking about oh no, I haven't done mine yet. I'm drinking beer. I'm drinking Space Dust. I don't know if labels that are okay or not. Space Dust Elysium
I already screwed
IPA.
that up.
Oh, well, F it. I'm drinking this thing. Everywhere this thing is sold, go buy it. PJ endorses it. And when I run out of my second beer, I'll probably go and get one. I found this one cool IPA. It doesn't taste good, but it's beer, so it's what it is. And it's called Dungeon Map.
Mm.
And I got it for the name alone. It's not.
You don't like
great.
Dungeon Map?
I'm not
Oh,
impressed.
come on, man.
I'm not blown away by it. Do I
Okay.
like it? Yes, but I'm not like this forever.
If on the theme though, Bottle Logic makes a wisdom check beer, charisma check beer. They have October was Orktoberfest. Was their beer? I have the labels. Well, I gesture vaguely to the label that I have 3.5 hours south of where I'm at right now. So I can't show it to you.
It's still
but-
over there. It's just
yeah.
way over there.
On the way over there.
Yeah. So yeah, now we're all hanging out. We're all having a good time. This is the time for chat, and I'm looking at chat right now. Ask us questions that you want to know about show players. If you want to ask anyone, myself, or any of the players a question, now's the time. We can talk about season 2 a little bit and what's to be expected there. We can talk about season 1 a lot and kind of go over some of that stuff, and just talk about fun times. And if you want to, anyone anytime can roast me, and I'll do a D10 cringe story fest where I'll tell you about my really awkward life.
Uh-huh. I'm just gonna point out just real fast in the
Mhm.
chat. I can predict that we're gonna get some weird questions from Reap Psyche because he's drinking Stro and Dr. Pepper.
Oh,
Stro and Dr. Pepper. Okay.
Cool.
Have y'all ever had Stro?
Kicking it old school. Sure, go
Yeah.
for it, bud.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated out there.
You only have
Um,
to be careful when it comes from a plastic jug.
oh,
I don't know. I feel like the plastic jug is just like the vehicle to make sure that it doesn't get there with any weird flavors. Eric Johnson, good lord, only one beer in. Eric Jackson asked, "Why are you all so awesome?"
Oh, I have no answer to that.
Bold of you to assume.
Not
to assume.
My response to this question is I am but a worm in a box, just wriggling around. I live my life one wormy move at a time, and for some reason, it all works out.
I'm just waiting for someone to say trauma. Um,
Well,
I think that's already
was gonna
assumed.
say that, but I'm going to change it now. I'm going
Oh,
to change it
okay.
now.
Good.
Well, why am I so awesome? Well, I gotta say, lots of fiber and keeping regular.
Oh, absolutely.
I thought you were gonna start reading the wine facts again.
Right.
So why am I so awesome? Well, I'm awesome because I have a mild tannin with some cherry apricots with a bold finish.
That too.
Erblinger wines.
That was my
Um,
favorite episode.
Erblinger.
Rick said, "How did everyone meet the first time? D&D wise, I guess. Does that mean here? I guess that means here.
I guess so, yeah.
I mean, technically, the first time I met PJ was very Pathfinder related. He made an all call at an open table at a game store that we used to live near.
Yeah.
So PJ and I met because of Pathfinder, and now hang out because of Pathfinder, and it goes all the way until right now.
See, and
that
me and
was-
Sidney is the same way, where it's we met because of D&D, and now we're friends because of D&D. You know,
Right.
D&D just brings people together, y'all.
It does. It's
I think-
magic.
RPGs, man.
Yeah.
Sam, we met LARPing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Right.
And I met PJ was LARPing, right?
Mhm.
And Michael, I met you on Blink Slate on Ryan's channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Kylie and Sidney, I only really met you because you were at LARP and I didn't really
Yeah.
meet you though.
Mm-hmm.
I remember your costumes.
It
though.
was like from a distance. Like you're like, I know who that is. Never actually met as real people though. Usually
Yeah.
gremlins.
Yeah. And then Sydney, we only met here and during the pandemic. So I like had not met you in person. And then when we finally did, I was just like, oh hey. And I'm like, wait, we've never seen each other in the physical space.
Yeah. It's funny though, because now that we've been going out more because of the fluctuations of the panini. And now I've been seeing you more, and it's always really exciting because I'm like, oh my god, it's Sam. I'm like, what? That's wild. But like,
not just
of
a Zoom related,
marshmallows.
not just a Zoom related cryptid.
yeah, he's real. But there's some really amazing memories that the show has made. I mean, all of y'all became my friends because of PJ, because PJ introduced me to you all. I mean, I didn't LARP before we started Edge of Legend because I just moved out here and I didn't know anybody. And then PJ brought me on board because he's very nice. And he's very gracious in letting a newcomer just come and like just worm their way in to this show. And I have very distinct memories of meeting PJ for the first time and Kylie and Ian. And I mean, listen, when I first met Kylie, I'm pretty sure, let's see, Kylie, you were wearing a Hufflepuff sweater.
Yep.
And
And
we
I sat
both-
next to you on the couch.
And we both said there were Hufflepuffs. And then you were like,
Hufflepuffs?
yeah. And you said we were going to be best friends. And I was like, okay.
Oh.
And it worked.
The
Remember
first
that.
time I met Sidney, I was trying to find the apartment that we were playing at to like get together for the first game. And the awkward moment when you see somebody in front of you who is walking just a little bit slower than you normally walk, but you don't want to like pass them up, but you also happen to be traveling to the exact same place without knowing it. And then I was like, this woman thinks I'm a creep. It's like 9:00 at night, and there's like this dark edge of the apartment complex, and I'm walking down the pavement behind her, and I'm like half stepping And then eventually we found out that we're just going to the same door, which just made things even more weird. That I'm just like this weird, like liminal space trying to keep distance. And then it was like, oh wait, we're all playing D&D together. Okay, fine. And then I sat next to Michael, who is the most prepared player I have ever seen for the first game together that I ever played. His binder out with all of his character stats and everything. And then I met Kylie shortly afterwards.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, how PJ and I met.
Oh God.
I don't know how many people I've told this story to, but it's one of my favorite stories. So when I first moved out to LA, one of the first jobs that I booked was as we were extras on this indie movie that had Sean Astin in it.
Yeah.
And the reason we were cast as extras was because we had our own costumes. Basically, we had our own LARP gear, and we were in this the way that they were storing the extras, like our waiting room was in like a boiler room of a key factory.
Yeah, it was like the closet where they kept their Wi-Fi routers. I mean, it was literally like a coat closet, and they shoved 6 actors in kind of a semicircle in there. It was ridiculous.
So I hear this story, and now I just think of the What We Do in the Shadows, where Guillermo meets all of the other the familiars in like the bottom room, and there's just like a cat. Yeah.
Yeah, and we bonded because PJ, would you like to tell them what you were talking about, PJ, and how we became friends?
I love this so much. So
I do. It's my favorite thing ever.
So we're in the closet together, and we're talking about, I don't know, whatever we can to kill the time. And then I mentioned the Wish app. And if you know the Wish app, you know the Wish app is this. It's like Mad Max meets Amazon. It's just chaos and lies. And so I'm trying to illustrate, as I do so well, how the Wish app is. And I mentioned, well, on one hand, you can buy like LARP gear and electronics and all these things. But on the other hand, and I guess I get a little excited, I mentioned you can find like spiky edge double dildos with like power attachments. Because again, you can find this on Wish. And I am having this bit with Sidney, and we're looking at each other laughing and talking. And suddenly, from outside of the broom closet they've shoved us in, is someone yelling, "Hey, this is a place of business."
Because they were
Was
half
it Sean
walls,
Astin?
and they didn't go all the way to the ceiling. And so he was talking really loud about dildos, and everyone else in the key factory is like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, that's how we met.
What do you
And-
expect?
And somehow when I was like, "Hey, do you want me to help? Do you want to help me write a whole fantasy world?" She didn't go, "You're a weirdo." No, I'm not talking to you. No, she was like, "Yeah, sign me up."
I think that says more about me than it does about you.
Oh
Um,
God.
I think. Let's see.
Okay,
No, I
well-
met. Oh, sorry.
Now that you mention it, we have to make the choice of what words we're allowing in the chat.
Yeah, I just noticed. Because everyone's talking about dildos, and I have to ask myself, do I really want to allow this word in our lexicon in the chat?
You're the one who said it.
I did.
think you just did.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no,
You got it.
audio, it's fine. Text based, that's a whole nother issue.
I saw it pop up and I just started laughing.
Oh
I
my
think
God.
I'm pretty like I said. I know I met Sam through Blank Slate on Life Action Roleplay, our friend Ryan's channel, and I think both me and PJ knew of each other. We actually seen each other a couple of times, I think, beforehand, but we never were formally introduced to each other.
Okay.
Yeah, and I met Sidney, Ian, and Kylie during our first game of Pathfinder.
Which I only made it to one of those. You guys all played together
mhm.
like 2 more times, and I wasn't able to
Mhm.
make it due to work.
Yeah, and
And
you
then it was
brought
like-
your-
What?
I was just gonna say you brought your Woodward alt.
Right, yeah. The original.
Naked
But then I
Woodward.
showed up for one
Wait.
game and it's like 2 weeks. We're wrapping this thing up. You got a camera? Oh crap.
I don't know what the Woodward alt is. Tell me about
Oh.
that.
That was my original character before. So it was actually funny because Michael and I both were going to play a wizard for a split second, And
Yeah.
then it turned out that neither of us ended up playing a wizard, but we both ended up changing our characters not to step on each other's toes to a certain extent, not ever telling each other. So we just all ended up not playing a wizard. But the original character, who I think I've told this story before on stream, but he's called Jim Jam the Wizard. And he's a conjuration wizard who thinks his backpack is magical because he doesn't realize that he actually has the power to conjure whatever he comes to mind. And he wears no clothes.
Yeah.
He was just like a naked, like, it was just like picture like a scrawny old, like, naked gnome with a beard long enough to cover everything.
So
Yeah.
And he just ran around yelling Jim Jam.
Yeah,
All I
and
can
he was
picture-
the most chaotic goblin I think I've ever seen in my
Yeah,
life.
His character was paper thin. Like it's if I had to turn in a backstory, it would have just been a single piece of paper that said Jim Jam in all caps at the top. Because that's all I had.
It was naked prototype Woodward.
Yes, it was.
See, every time you tell the story, all I can think of is the wizard from Adventure Time.
Exactly.
I don't know if y'all
That's
can
exactly
see
what I
him
was thinking.
in my
So-
camera.
Yes.
I had
All
no
I can
idea that
think
guy
about.
existed. Because I'm not like, I've never watched Adventure Time. And then after I've told the story, people were like, oh, you mean this guy? And I'm like, I do know that now. Yes, it's exactly the same character.
Yeah.
But
Oh no, now I have to decide if I want to allow the word butt plug in chat.
Oh my
Now you're on
god.
it.
Do
Rip
it.
Psyche.
Do it.
Now, for those who
It's
can't see the
Morgan
chat,
after
I
dark.
am now tasked with. I'll read this out loud. I am now tasked to see if this is okay or not. Look, I've gotten some stuff on there, and it has served me just fine. You just need to be careful and discerning once your $1.45 butt plug arrives. And I'm like, but what do I do here?
What's in
Approve
that?
it. Why
What's
not?
in that
We're
stuff?
here.
Yeah, you know
We're
what?
all our friends. There's no strangers in this chat. All
no
these people have
strangers.
been watching us forever.
Absolutely, since day one,
The
if not a
random
little
raid's gonna
after.
come in.
I like
Random
the
raid. Where's Blue Suit? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Just go
Um,
BPA free, friends.
so
Yes.
Plastic chemicals are not good for you.
I think a question that got passed up, Mahooch ended up throwing out there was, I think I could be paraphrasing a little bit, was how many gods does Shionibus punch in a single month?
Yes.
7.
7.
Okay,
That's
right. You
sweet.
got a number. It's part of the backstory. I don't know about it, but it's there.
What I
That's
love is that
insane.
she had the number ready. She's like, I
Yeah.
wake up and I just punch 7 gods and I
Right.
take 3 days off to, like, rust my knuckles.
Exactly. It's hard being this great.
I like great. Good.
Anybody remember in that old TV show Hercules and Xena? Like the gods are just chilling in the mortal plane like every so often. That's how I'm kind of
Mhm.
envisioning the gods in this world as.
Right. They're just
They're-
kind of around whether you know it
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah, there is something I've wanted to mention for a while, and then we'll probably explore this more in season 2. There's a reason why the gods are so visible to you.
Hmm.
It's
Like,
'cause we're
us?
special.
As like groups of people.
Yeah, I mean, consider the fact that you've run into a handful of clerics, an entire neutral political organization full of devout worshippers of every, and I mean every faith, and yet they're just praying. You've actually run into and seen and talked to gods
Oh, you're talking about like me personally.
of
me.
like all y'all, the whole
Oh,
meeting
yep.
Shulg, meeting Afra, meeting Nadir.
We
You know
should
those
get
questions?
gods. We
You know those
spatial.
questions you should ask when you're playing the game that you forget about? Like, yo, everybody else, you see this guy, right? Or we're just talking to like thin air the entire time.
I have a
It
lot of
hasn't
those
come up.
questions in my notebook, and it's like you should ask about this later, and I'm like, well,
I
Oh
Oh
can't.
my god. I just realized something. What
What's
if
that?
remember that scene, that one episode of Community where it kind of turns out that the entire group was in a institution?
Oh yeah, that one was rough because like they were trying to mind fuck you and to believe that the community show didn't exist. It was just the delusions of like 6 different psychopaths.
What if that's us?
Wild.
I
Oh no.
I don't think that'd be fun for anyone. At the end of the whole thing, be like, it was all a dream. And like,
Night
yo, chapter
Shyamalan.
5, season 5 is gonna come eventually, and I'm really working hard on trying to set the landing on that.
Foster's imaginary friends.
Mm.
I have
Why-
a question.
Sure.
What was everybody's first introduction to TTRPGs? And how did you start playing?
PJ in this show. I had never played before this.
Nice.
And part of the
Nice.
reason I had left early, not just because it was like midnight and I had an hour drive home, but I was so nervous on our very first session in person that I was like, this is too much for me. I can't do this. And I had so much anxiety, so I left.
Oh no.
You're so good at it though.
Yeah, friend, you're amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah, well
Yeah.
done. I
Yeah,
didn't know
look at
that.
you now.
Yeah.
You're on like 3 different streams.
Yeah, right.
That's what's up.
I have managed to charm everyone into being like, hey, you should bring me into this.
So you're
And
saying you're a
then-
bard.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to brag about Kylie actually really fast because I remember when we were in the early stages.
Gonna make her leave again.
Yep. And I put out an all call on my Facebook, like, look, I'm looking for like someone who's really good at role play and, you know, hopefully like just like an awesome woman of color, like anyone that can help me out, let me know. And to your credit, Kylie, you shot your shot and you were like, can be me. And I was like, I play with them at LARP. Like they're perfect. They're a great human being. Yes, 1,000%, no hesitation. Yes. And we met at a Starbucks to go over your character.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Like way in the early days. And like, I know I was throwing a lot of stuff at you, but you're like, you're making bold choices. You built that character from the ground up. I remember like phone calls coming up with your backstory and your character. And what always impresses me, and I don't know if this is like your LARP background or like something to do with like your fearlessness, but every time I put you in a situation where I have to give you a heavy choice, you don't blink twice, you crack your knuckles, and you make the biggest, boldest choice of your life. And every time I'm like, I know she can handle it because I've seen her. She will kick the crap out of this role play moment, and she will make some crazy shit. And I love it because every time you go to that well and you're like, hey, Felix Chance, fuck me up, fam. And he's like, oh, okay, sure. I'll fuck you up real good. What do you want this time?
They're just best friends. He
My
doesn't
favorite
know
thing of
it
that
yet,
is
but they are.
PJ
Yeah.
puts out an all call to find awesome role players, and I don't see any of this. PJ's asked me, and I show up with Jim Jam. That's my base level character. Everyone else has come up with stuff, and I'm like, sure, I can play. I'll make a character in 30 minutes.
Now, see, we already had history. I was like, I know
Yeah.
Ian can role play because I've been playing with the man for like half a decade. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
asked you straight up. I'm like, I want you on my show. And the original character he wanted to make, if I recall, was a dwarven ranger with a crossbow.
Yeah, that was my original character. And then we talked about it, we talked it out, and then somehow I got Jim Jam was the best idea I've ever had in my entire life.
Naked wizard.
Naked wizard. Hear me out.
I mean,
Dwarf with a crossbow
now hear me
or naked
out.
gnome wizard.
Naked
Bring
gnome
Jim
wizard.
Jam
True,
in.
true.
Bring Jim Jam in for like
A one shot.
an NPC.
We were on the
one shot.
same. We
Right,
were on the same
right.
page, Sydney.
Yup.
I'm just saying.
Kylie.
Mary
actually have
Liza Woodward.
Maybe.
I mean, that would be it. I can definitely see Jim Jam hanging out in Molly Moss.
He's one
I
of
mean,
the
that
new
entire
husbands.
sentence sounds just weird enough to make sense.
I'm gonna message PJ.
Oh,
One of the
no.
ex-wives has to have moved on. Yeah.
It's like, listen, Woodward, you're great, but I moved on. There's this naked wizard in the back shooting spells going, my backpack's full of demons.
Speaking of original characters,
Oh
actually,
my
I have a question for Kylie, and also I guess this question could also go to everybody else. What were you originally gonna play if you weren't going to be playing your current character?
I did not have a backup because this was the very first time ever playing a TTRPG, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And I was like, well, she still now. I'm like, well, she dies. That's all I got currently. So, you know, we're still riding that
Adventure
hype
train?
Yeah.
What about Sidney and Sam?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sam, your process was a little different than everybody else's because you came in later.
Yeah. Well, I think it was just PJ had told me about the Asmacon culture. So Ichi was my first concept for it. I knew I was gonna go barbarian just because Pathfinder is a new system to me. And barbarian, I'm like really comfortable playing like barbarian fighter characters. So I liked that a lot. And really it all just kind of came together. You know, there wasn't too much deliberation between it, and I knew I wanted her to be I always like to do something a little bit different with somebody who's like a fighter barbarian character, right? So her being kind of like famous was, like that's kind of a bard thing usually, where she's like, oh, I've got an assistant, and I'm like, whatever. Like they didn't pick the yellow M&Ms out of my M&M bowl before I got here. All right, we have to leave.
Rage.
Yeah, exactly.
Table flip.
Yeah, so I really love to balance characters out like that with something that you would not expect for like the class archetype.
That's so much fun.
Yeah.
You are really good at creating characters, and you are really good at having like really awesome like role play moments.
Dynamic characters.
100%.
What about you, Sid?
Yeah, my only character was Alona. I remember when PJ and I were building, when we would have our brainstorming sessions for the world, eventually he was like, oh, by the way, you need to make your character. Because at first we hadn't like, it was still very nebulous. We hadn't decided if I was actually going to join the cast of the show or if I was just going to help world building. I mean, I wanted to be the cast of the show, but we were still, learning about each other as well, like as people. Like for all he knows, I could be a crazy fucking person that he like just met on set once, and now I'm like weaseling my way into his life, which I did.
To be fair, you weren't the one shouting about dildos.
Yes.
It's like,
look, compared to how
the
we
bar.
meet, the bar was so low, Sidney. All you really have to do to be considered the craziest person I've ever met was lowjack my friend's phone during a game and then threaten to come over with buddies to beat us up. True story.
I mean,
we didn't even ask questions, and you're giving us cringe stories.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Hold on, make my D10 ready
Roll
for the
the
cringe.
dice.
Oh my god.
I also
Yeah.
wanna say, honestly, Sid, I can't imagine the Edge Legend cast without you. Honestly.
Yeah, totally.
100%.
I think to wrap back into Sam's question, for origins of TTRPG, the reason that I went with a dwarf with a crossbow goes back to what's my original thing is it's again where I felt comfortable, which is what Sam said as well, because the first time I ever played, I played the dragon game, and the dragon game, which was actually my mom, she bought me the beginner 3.5 box for Christmas one year. And she was like, we're going to learn how to play Dungeons and Dragons in this house because I played in college and there's not going to be a generation who misses this. So she was actually my first DM for me, my sister, and two of my best friends for like 2 or 3 years.
Oh.
So yeah,
so
my
cool.
mom brought me in on all of it. And I played a dwarf named Tormod, which was like my go-to, or he was Torkel. Yeah. But anyway, and he had a crossbow was the thing, because my best friend at the time was playing a monk and I couldn't keep up because they get plus 10 speed like every 3 levels. So I was a fighter dwarf who showed up to the battle late consistently. So I was like, damn it, I'm going to put all my feats into this crossbow. And so it was basically the way that I was like getting legs in the game. But yeah, that's how I started playing and why my original character was that.
You know what's also really adorable is that your mom watches our episodes and
Oh,
she
yeah.
comments on our YouTube.
Yeah.
And she's the cutest thing ever.
Yeah.
I adore it. I always try to jump in and like comment because she's always just giving hot takes. I
You know
love it
what?
when your mom talks to us.
The only reason I'm happy we're not playing 3.5 or 3.5 for Dungeons and Dragons is specifically because she wouldn't correct me when I get the rules wrong in the chat. Because she'd be like, that's not how that works.
Oh man, I do want to do some awesome questions from the chat. My brain. What's Mahooch asked about what the cheese was that you had on your charcuterie board.
Oh, I'm going with a nice mild Gouda.
Nice. Pengu-chan asked if when they make it out to Cali, who would be down to meet up with them? Well, I know I have to meet the Celestial Penguin in person. I think that's a given.
Let's just all hope COVID like stops.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Once we cross that bridge, and I mean, I imagine they're not going to come out here until that time either.
Yeah.
Oh, Rick asked a question again.
But going to the kind of Sam's question, also my question also. Originally, Rufa, I remember, was gonna be I think my character changed the most during our games during character creation because
Yeah.
Rufus started off as a monk and actually a wholesome monk.
Didn't you start out as like Uncle Iroh adjacent?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Uncle Iroh monk who wanted to suplex a dragon. Then it became a wizard, but I didn't want to step on Ian's toes because I thought he wanted to be a wizard.
Isn't anxiety fun?
Yeah.
We're both like,
It's
we don't want to be a
fucking great.
problem. And so we just walk two different directions without ever telling the other person.
Yeah. And then the investigator and swashbuckler playtest came out. I'm like,
Mhm.
hey, I want to be a skill monkey.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh god, there's some other ones in the chat I wanted to get to because I want to make sure that the people who are asking questions get to hear the answers.
Yeah.
Well, Rick,
yeah.
Rick asked, what are some RPGs you want to try outside Pathfinder 2? Michael, this is a good question for you. I know you just got up, but you're always looking at new TTRPG games. Like always.
I'm pulling them out.
Oh, you're pulling them out?
Oh, nice.
He's prepared.
Nice.
He has preps.
There's another book, but it's too heavy and down there, so I'm just gonna pull the top few books. Blades in the Dark. Still in shrink wrap.
I don't know what I
MSG. It's the game for professionals.
Oh,
MSG, the game
that's
for professionals.
right up your alley, it sounds like.
Kids on bikes.
Right.
I've heard of that.
Good one.
That's
Good
I would
one,
love
good
to play
good
that
one.
sometime.
I actually just got these books. Kaishu, which is a post-apocalyptic game where it's kind of like Mad Max.
Ooh.
Flatline, basically cyberpunk, but we play as EMTs.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
I've been I'm so ready. I saw the Matrix trailer the other day and I am so ready for the 90s cyberpunk revival. Like, bring it to me now, please.
You say that until you get handed a Shadowrun book.
Yeah.
I play Shadowrun every week.
She does. That's
you
right.
do?
You
Okay,
do.
man. Sometimes I
And of
love
course,
Shadowrun, but at times I'm
Never
like, "God."
going home.
Ooh, what is that?
It takes place in World War One. It's a horror game. Basically,
Whoa.
World War One with like pagan and folk horror and all that stuff.
Okay, we got
Nice.
Definitely got to play that.
Please, please.
It is funny. I will say a little look behind the curtain. I'm drunk enough. I'll talk about it. So I've built 1, 2, 3, at least 3 different like spin-offs for this world. One of them is this in the far future, like to put it best, Edge of Legend 40K when they're out in space and it's all spaceships. Starfinder would kind of be the base for that as a system wise. The other one is I think I told Sidney a little bit about this like way back at your birthday in like 2020, but I wanted to do a cyberpunk Edge of Legend game as well, taking place in the far future of 2021. And it would definitely be like a 90s cyberpunk kind of game for the Edge of Legend universe, very much like Cyberpunk 2070. And there's also, Ian remembers this one, an entire world encapsulated into a tower that's kind of film noir meets steampunk and high fantasy. And that one's going to be one that eventually we're going to hopefully get to spin off into for a bit. So
that
I want to
was
do it.
Playing that campaign was super dope. It was a super interesting world that was the tower wasn't limiting. It wasn't something that you were limited by. It was the tower was another character.
Ooh.
Because you had to move through it and work with it and work with the inner workings of the government and everything. It was just one of those things where it's like there was kind of 2 BBEGs, like, and one of them was the tower because it was in your way no matter what you did. It was really cool. It's really well thought out.
That is really cool.
I
Apparently,
realized. Oh,
go for it. No, go for it.
PJ, what did we play? The Warhammer. We played Warhammer.
Oh, I think I had you for a Black Crusade game. You played one of the Sorcerers of Zinch.
Yeah, right. There it is.
That was a
Black
lot of fun.
Crusade
I
game.
know I
Yeah,
only
it
got
was.
you like for 2 games, so I was so stoked to have you there.
Oh, it was awesome.
Scups mentioned that he wanted to see us play Ultraviolet Grasslands. Michael, do you know what that is?
I
Anybody?
have not heard of that. Wait, let me. Ultraviolet Grassland. Yeah, I don't think I really heard of that game, but actually, I'm gonna plug something really quick. Somewhere in the early January on my YouTube channel, I'm gonna put up 10 anticipated 2022 TTRPGs. I did one last year for
Ooh.
2021.
Okay.
That's
And,
fun.
quick spoiler. Well, not just quick peek. One of them is the Transformers TTRPG from Renegade Games. I want to check that out.
I had no
Ooh.
idea that was even a thing.
I hope there's a dice roll for you to not like transform correctly. Like you start to like unfold and you accidentally turn into like, you know, a toaster. And you're like,
Yeah.
damn it.
Make a performance check. I got a 7. You do not transform into the
No.
Autobot known as Riot Ride. You instead turn into the Frisbee known as Jeffrey. God damn it. I see Rick. I see Rick. Rick M, the GM, in the chat asking us about Crisco. For those that didn't get to see it,
Mhm.
myself and Michael Powell jumped into a Christmas chat. I think last weekend, and Crisco came up a lot in some very suggestive ways. If you want to see it, go look at the Band of Badgers VOD on that. But yeah, I think Crisco might become the next Grease Spell.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
it's agreed.
as-
It's agreed.
Yeah, as far as tabletop RPGs, I want to play. What was that one? Oh gosh, City of Ash, I think it is, where you play a person who has like this dream state where they become like a
Oh,
book character
City
or
of Mist.
mythology. City of
City
Mist,
of
that's it.
Mist.
City
Yeah,
of Mist.
Mist.
Yeah.
I would love to play
same.
that.
Same.
Also, I want to play Mutants and Masterminds. I have such a
Oh,
superhero complex. I would love to play a
It's
superhero
so
game.
awesome, dude. I purposely tried to break that game multiple times because they allow it. It's one of those things where you can be Barry Allen fast. But
That's
It is
cool.
very
Life.
the GM gets to roll things where it's like, hey, I run, you know, I run Mach 5 times the speed of sound. Okay, that's great, but now I have to roll for all of the windows inside the city.
Wow.
So it's just like
Wow.
collateral damage is everywhere. You have to make all your choices, which is super cool.
That is really cool. I want to as for games, we got to figure out when I'm going to run that cat made game.
Yeah, we
Yes.
do.
Yes.
I'm 1000%. I want to put on the maid outfit. I want to put on the
Yes.
cat ears, and I want to save the fucking world.
I
My character's
wonder-
name will be Misa. I will play bass on the side.
Nice.
Oh my
Rick, you should
God.
get that.
I love that.
Cool.
Another game I want to play.
make it happen.
Also,
See,
still
Oh,
I
in
want to
Apple.
play
yes.
Vampire.
Vampire,
So bad.
I will accept Vampire the tabletop RPG. That is fine, and I'm definitely down for that. It's a little dense, but the one time I played when I was evil Walt Disney, I had a great time.
Werewolf. We could also play Werewolf: The Apocalypse. That's supposed to come out next
Yeah.
year.
Mhm.
It got delayed.
Werewolf is my speed. You kidding me? I freaking love that. Yes. So I did a show on another channel where it's like, we're doing vampire. I'm like, I've never done this before, but I did. Someone who did. I'm like, who's your character? It's a very old Ventrue who's very capitalistic and very, buys art and then like strips the whimsy from it and just gives it to people ad nauseum. And they're like, well, so who is it? I'm like, it's an evil Walt Disney.
Oh, that's
You
wild.
know-
I remember that book. Yeah.
Uses some mutants and mastermind rules.
You know what I'd love to run? That would, I think, especially the few people who, I think if you haven't played it, it'll blow your mind. Although there's a chance that you may get overwhelmed with the possibilities, is before all of this existed, there was a little game called Rifts.
Yes.
And Rifts
Yeah.
is basically, it was when before TTRPG started buying IP from people, they just started buying everything. So there's a supplement book on like pagan mythology, like Norse mythology. Then there's like all the gods of Olympia. Then Teenage Ninja Turtles. Like it's just everything they
have
could.
the
Every
supplements.
IP, Batman,
Mhm.
super like all of DC, all of Marvel bought in. Like, and it's just you just get a supplement book and you can build whatever character you want out of the world.
Ian, I have some of the supplements for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, and it's
Nice.
based off the comic books from Malibu Comics.
Yeah,
Black and
yeah.
white one, where they
Right.
actually show blood.
Yeah, it's by Palladium, I think
Yeah.
is the person who put Rifts together.
Oh,
and the whole thing is that so many atomic bombs got put off at once that all of the universes now have like a wormhole, so they're colliding all in one planet.
yeah.
And so you just get to play whatever you want. So you can have like a mech warrior next to like I was playing like an undead one of Frankenstein's like rejected monsters next to like Donatello, and then Superman comes in, and you're all playing the same RPG.
well,
cool.
technically Power Rangers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they do share the same universe, we found out.
How?
They appeared in comic books together.
Oh
And
man.
the Turtles transformed into Power Rangers.
What?
Yeah.
Oh
That's
no, I
awesome.
remember that book. It
Yeah.
was the Ninja Turtles. They teamed up with the Power Rangers. First they fought and they realized there was a greater evil. They teamed up and I think they got morphers.
Yeah.
There was also the Turtles teaming with Batman.
Yep.
And then and there was one where the Turtles teamed up with the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
IDW was just kind of like, we got this thing. Might as well throw it around town and see who picks it up.
The Shredder became the evil Green Ranger.
That's incredible.
And
I
I
would
take
think
a
so.
quick second to
Yeah.
read Avenging Penguin's comment because I really like it. Okay.
Very nice.
They said, hold on. Oh, my glasses. They said, howdy, you all. I stayed up past my bedtime to say, great last episode. Shionibus was able to love without loss. Ichi decided not to hurt, but to heal. Woodward got to ride his dragon. Rufa gave up controlling for helping. Then at the end, Alona the pacifist healer got the final blow. Thank all of you for the great adventure. Happy holidays, keep rolling, and keep being awesome.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I actually also want to bring attention to another question in chat by Rain Touched, who asked a while ago, what was each of your favorite NPCs from the last season? And I want to start with Kylie. She
Why do
had
you wanna start with
two.
me?
Hold on, I
She
gotta
had
get a
two
pencil.
very specific NPCs that showed up for you this last season, and I'm just really curious to see.
I'm gonna make some notes
You
here.
know who
Favorite
it
NPC.
is. You know who it is.
Say the name.
Ooh,
With a
interesting.
boss ass bitch like her, you know who it is.
Yep. That's what I was gonna say. I knew it. It's because you want to fight her.
I'm gonna win. I'm gonna fight her and I'm gonna win.
So what I'm hearing is I need to prepare the episode where you fight Bowen Rionog or Iolenu.
Iolena.
Iolenu. There we
Iolenu.
go.
Yeah,
But I
Alright.
also do want to fight Bowen, but that's out of spite.
Out of spite.
Out of
Okay.
spite.
Okay. So we're kind of leaning more towards Camp Larian then, huh?
Iolenu came in on the back of a griffin she killed by herself. Like she just
Fucking
slid
Wonder
into
Woman.
combat.
Yeah,
And that was
yeah.
that was the first time we ever met her. It's like
Yeah.
Like, how was
I
I
think-
not supposed to fall in love
I
with
think
that?
everybody in that game was fanning themselves.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, okay.
it's true.
Yeah,
we thought Larian Boss was hot shit, but he's kind of like toxic and like not a
He's
cool
got
guy.
mommy issues.
And then Awesome Raw was hot shit because it was like, ooh, her first love. And then
He's
we
got
met
demon
Iolenu.
issues. And then we met Iolenu and Awan. Like,
Oh
Yeah.
no, you have a crush on the sister and the brother.
no,
What? You have a
no.
thi-
She just wants to be best friends with Awan because he's badass. We'd be best friends.
Mhm.
I just
And,
had
like,
a
that's new
terrible
sparring
idea.
buddy. Oh no.
I just for a charity show sometime we
Mhm.
should do Shionibus accidentally ends up in like a fantasy dating game.
Ah, dating sim, a dating sim.
Yes.
A harem.
Oh no.
You don't see the people and it's like what's your ideal date? And they all talk.
People
I
want
love
that.
that.
Oh my.
See, I was on the same page, Sam, and then you like took a hard left, and I was still going straight.
I want to play Larry and Voss. I like a dinner on a beach, so if my heart's broken, I can get to the water quick enough. Like,
Needs that emo haircut.
right? Yeah.
I will say when you wanted to play Larry and Voss for the War of the Five Nations, I was like, that is the perfect choice. Thank you so much for going along with my.
That's the
my
whole
idea.
thing is like, of course I want to play Larry and Voss because I'm playing Woodward most of the time. Like, now I just get to be like unhinged.
Oh,
So-
and I did the math. This was not on camera, but absolutely with all the math done and the storm that was still going on, he absolutely sunk at least one of those warships.
Weird whaleboat thing.
Yep.
I think we said it in chat, in our personal chat that we have. And my immediate response was, suck it, whaleboat.
At least. Yeah, everyone in the chat saying have a Valentine's one shot, please. We'll see. The one shots are always kind of hard to do with time, but we'll see what happens.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick out another question from the Hooch if we're ready. because I think it's a great question.
Mhm.
What decision for your character do you regret the most? Like,
Kylie.
what decision during the campaign? Kylie.
Kylie.
Um,
Touching the statue of Ravon.
Ooh, yeah.
Hardcore.
Right.
Fully regret that decision to this day.
yeah, you fucked up.
I really fucked up.
Hey, but I'll say though, if it wasn't for that, you would have never gone on that journey to bring Awesome Rob back from the dead. Remind me, because like I'm a little confused. I remember when we talked about it. I think you said like in your backstory he was like engaged to you or married to you. Like you had a ring related to your relationship.
They were together, like I guess courting,
Okay.
and then but he wasn't of the proper status, one would say.
Okay. So
So
they
her
were
family's
together,
like,
but
Nah,
Because
that's
you're a
not who we-
princess.
Cheers, yeah.
Because she's a princess.
a
Kinda like
princess.
that.
Okay, cool.
She's a princess. What about you, Sam?
Yes.
Ooh, that is really hard. I don't know if I have a good answer because I think Ichi usually thinks she's always making the right decision. And then if she comes to a realization that she's not, tends to kind of resolve it pretty quickly. And then so if I kind of like meta it, I think maybe like gotten into more role play with Shanti or something, maybe done something different there, but I'm pretty happy with how everything panned out. So
Okay.
oh, I know, buying the theater, that was not a good investment.
See,
Are
you
we
say
spending
that,
money
but
off of that?
season 2 has a strong possibility where Agrippa Upon a Bear has a theater that tells the stories of the heroes of tomorrow. And every season there's a new show about what cool shit you guys have done.
And where
PJ,
else are you going to have Shionibus be a part of her dating game? You need an audience. You need a filming
Okay,
space.
PJ, are you going to be pulling
Oh, no.
Avatar: The Last Airbender with like
Yes.
actors playing our characters in the stage play?
I love it.
There'll definitely be people that, I mean, like, you have to have actors because you're going to be too busy being awesome and saving the world in season 2. So there's got to be someone cast to be you.
Heck,
So,
why
yeah.
not? Michael.
Really quick,
Oh, I was just gonna ask if you have any answer to that question. If there's a moment that your character regrets.
I don't think Rufa himself has any, but as a player, I don't want to say it's like a peek behind the curtain. I honestly remember when we were revealing our most cringe moments
Uh-huh.
Right.
for our characters and everything.
Uh-huh.
I panicked and just randomly thought that was a thought I randomly threw out. Rufa has a kid. Now I'm like,
You're like, nope,
How
now
am I
Rufa
gonna
has a
do this?
kid.
Wait a sec. Hold up. Wait, so are you saying that you didn't have a kid in your backstory, or you weren't planning on revealing that you had a kid so soon?
it was something I was playing around, but it wasn't a idea that was fully formed, and then I panicked and threw that out.
I
Well,
love
now
it.
it's
though.
canon.
Yeah, now it's
Fucking
canon. I know.
Now
Now
it's
I'm like,
canon.
That's a good one.
ugh.
That's
Like,
hilarious.
ooh.
That's hilarious.
Ugh.
I love that.
Oh, and really quick, I just want to point out some what Hedgie Cleric posted. They posted, if you need someone to run Vampire the V5 for you, Nat 20 Productions official, hit me up. So, PJ.
Oh, I saw that, Michael. Absolutely. We'll see about that. That could be fun. Maybe during Halloween we could just have
Yeah.
like a vampire game and see where that goes.
Side note, I do just want to plug if y'all like Vampire, D'Angelo, who's I think both me and PJ, and I'm not sure if anyone else has guested on his channel before, that is usually doing Phoenix by night, which is a little bit more on the what we do in the shadows end of Vampire. So if like that interests you, go check out his channel. I think it's just D'Angelo, right?
I think so. Yeah. On that note, would you all like to do another The Dark Things We Do next year? Because if so, like I'm down to do it again. Okay.
Stuart's
Yeah.
going to sit on someone again.
Stuart's consider. Yo, if you all want to play Vampires Trapped in Alpha on Prime, I'm super down to do another Dark Things We Do one shot. Oh, Sydney's so sad because she knows she can't make it.
Oh no, right.
Honestly, we should do the Dark Things We Do holiday Christmas edition then.
I
We
would
could.
love
We
to
totally
do
could.
a like Halloween in July type one shot.
I feel like it's too easy. I think we should just all play our characters celebrating Labor Day. Like, just
Arbor
like
Day.
make some-
You know
Day,
what?
right, Arbor Day.
That's
Just like-
that's
and it's like,
perfect.
what does this mean? Like,
Yeah.
and us
I-
making up our own Labor Day traditions.
I think I'm gonna go with that because like Christmas in July and Halloween in July, those are all fun. But I kind of love the idea of you guys celebrating a very important but kind of non-commercially acceptable holiday. Like it's Arbor Day, and it's like, what the vibe? Blah.
Nobody
Beach
makes cards for this.
episode.
Yes.
Beach
Beach
episode.
filler.
I do need to look. We have to do a beach episode for the Heroes of Tomorrow. You guys
Bummer.
need to have a beach episode.
Who doesn't want to
Please.
see Woodward in a coconut bra?
Do
Yep.
you know
It's gonna
how
happen.
much weird tension there's going to be with Alona wearing a bathing suit? She's never
Right.
taken off her freaking robe.
I bet you Alona will have like a beach cover up that looks identical to her robe, but is just in a nice linen.
Right.
I'm just gonna say
Yes.
so many fan art. So many fan art.
It's, I
will-
can't wait to see Morel trying to defend her with a shield and like his little like trunks. He's like, I'll help you.
Yeah, he's got like the kind of like the kind of like board shorts that Bond had, like the Daniel Craig Bond had when he's doing an homage to when like Pussy Galore came out of the ocean. He's gonna have like those little like shorts. He's like, it's all the fashion in Acadia. Just I'm kind of stuck wearing it. So
And I just want to say Rufa's very, very European, so he's gonna rock the banana hammock.
Good.
He's
Yes.
very European.
I want to see you. I want to see you rocking the banana sling holder that was worn in Borat. I want to see Rufa wearing the Borat string
Right.
piece.
Very
God.
nice.
So I want to answer Rick the GM's question. What about guest star episodes? So for our cat made one shot, I think we talked about roping Tobias into it.
Mhm.
Tobias
Easy.
McCurry. And if there's a chance, Joe, if you're listening, if there's a chance you would want to be on my made one shot, my cat made one shot.
Join us, Joe.
It would
Join
be
us in the
amazing.
cat
Yeah.
maid. Me,
Send us a
Ian,
message in
Tobias.
chat.
Do it.
Give us a sign.
Yeah. Also, I do want to say this. I've been talking about it. I've been having these awesome people talk to me about it for years. I love Tobias McCurry. I've wanted him on the show forever, and I'm now breaking down. And I think that it's about time to have Tobias guest star as Tobias Raphaelis,
Yes.
the Grand
Yes.
Hospitalier of the Platinum Hammer. So I'm still coming up in the air, but what the gap content's going to be until we get to season 2. It's going to be 4 or 5 episodes. The first beginning of season 2 is either going to be a story related to a certain elf, or it's going to be the Champions Cup, which is basically Mortal Kombat, where the winner gets one wish spell granted to them. And there's going to be a bunch of champions there. I don't know if you remember the episode, but Larian Voss was invited. Not so much him, but the axe that he carries. But because he wields the axe, he has to go. Tobias Raphaelis is also going to be at this championship cup because he's also going to be invited. And that would be when I want to have Tobias come in as everyone's favorite paladin.
I love the chip on the shoulder of Voss that you're just growing. Well, we didn't invite you. We invited your weapon. You just happen to be the one who wields it. So come on, it's okay, I guess.
And,
Like,
and the papoose
just
jokes are
like-
never gonna get old. The papoose jokes are never gonna get old.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. I want to say I saw some other questions I want to go into, but you know what? There was some other things that we, not everyone got a chance to ask. First of all, he says, taking notes, who was everyone else's favorite NPCs and some other RP moments that you regretted?
Ooh, right.
He says, taking notes.
Woodward, I think Woodward's my biggest regret with Woodward was not being involved with the Pantheon sooner. I think it's cool that I was able to develop that, but not asking enough questions going into the game to realize that Woodward could have totally been a cleric of Rochelle from the
Hmm.
very beginning, and I would have ran with that so hard. Every moment that
class.
you saw me thinking about anything on stream, it was me figuring out how to get Rochelle involved. Like I'm not, because of how often she helped when I was able to do so. I was like, man, this is awesome. I think that's my biggest, I would call it regret.
That's
Uh,
fair.
I
Ian,
think Rochelle is also quite possibly my favorite NPC,
Mm.
only for the fact that it is the like the hijinks that PJ gets to play against me playing the drunk gnome hijinks. Like that is just a fun, that'll never get old. I will never get tired of that. The back and forth, I'm gonna put 2 shot glasses on the table, I'm trying to track down a bottle of wine. Where is this asshole? Like PJ's going, well done, right? So
And
it was awesome.
huge kudos to Sidney, who played Rochelle when y'all were doing the Roz Rave
Right,
party. That
right.
was so much. I know it was a long game, but you guys really created some awesome moments. I want to thank you for playing gods at a rave party. And if we can ever get the time and freedom to do it again, I'd love to do Ra's Rave Party 2, but it won't be Ra hosting because Isis is kind of over your shit. So I'm sure it would be a different god hosting, which why not have Odin's Rave Party? See what happens when you guys
Ooh.
crash Asgard or I crash, you know.
I think as a player though, when and Michael brought this up, a player, my biggest regret was not trying the accent with Felix Chance.
Mm.
Do
Only
it. Do
because
it now.
I realize now that I do an accent as Woodward all the time. If I would have just put like a week into it, even if it was a shitty Irish accent, I could have just made Felix drunk at the party and could have covered my own ass with it, right? Like
Yeah.
there's no reason, and I'm not saying I can do it now.
Do it for
Sam,
the
I
people.
appreciate it, but do it for
Do
the
it
people.
for the
You know what?
audience.
Here it is. Here it is.
Come on.
Like I said, I'm coming back for special episodes. Maybe there will be an episode where PJ and I can work and he give me enough lead time to practice my accent, where I can come in and play Felix one more time.
I'll tell you this, I'm not the greatest Irish accent in the world, but at least I can give you a good base on like how to pronounce certain vowels and consonants and shit.
Right.
So if you want to just meet and talk, we'll give you at least a good basic and like show you some videos to kind of practice with.
I'll ask Mahooch to help me too.
Oh, is Mahooch? Does he have an Irish accent? Do they have an Irish accent?
Mahooch has an Irish accent when he's in his pub, which is also in his house. So
Fair enough.
which I'm invited to. So
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Mahooch does own the Type and Pint in Agrippa upon a Bear.
right.
Which I regret. I love Agrippa upon a Bear. It's one of my favorite cities in that entire continent, and I kicked myself in the ass because I decided to combine Latin and Celtic, and historically they don't get along, and linguistically they don't get along, and I fucked up. I'm putting that out there.
Ian,
Yeah.
Woodward could always get a cleric class dedication. So
Well,
they
I was
could,
kind of going. I was kind of going with that because I actually have the alchemist.
Yeah.
Dedication through Rochelle right now, which is why I was able to pull off that super bear thing. Which PJ handed me the alchemist thing, and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we'll figure it out. And then I started doing the math, and I was like, PJ, this is actually like this is because the thing is you can prepare your potions ahead of time. So there's nothing, the thing that prevents you from being overpowered as a druid is that you can't cast spells while you're in your animal form. But if you prepare your potions ahead of time and just throw them down on the ground, become a bear, and then eat all of them, there's nothing saying that you can't be a super potioned alchemist bear all of a sudden. So
you should transform into a dire raccoon and just like threw everything on the floor, just like
the Tanuki.
Yes.
Yeah,
I actually I DM a game that we're all animals, and Landon plays a Tanuki.
Yes.
And
oh,
he
it's so
basically,
beautiful.
he's a cursed Tanuki. He has a ring of not wild shape, but what's the actual spell for
Polymorph.
Polymorph. He has a ring of polymorph that's cursed. So anytime he gets above a certain level of anxiety, I make him roll a dice, and he will randomly have to turn into an animal on my chart.
Oh no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually funny. I remember we were talking about having other people come in and GM games, and we kind of joked about Pet of Legends for a long time. And I kind of had this concept for that. Sam, if you want to run Pets of Legend, I'm down to like.
I would love that.
Awesome, because the basic premise is every player is going to be an animal companion. You're an animal with stats and the whole bit, and you're going to go on a one adventure. And I think you would do a kick-ass job running that, as well as Cat Maids United.
It's going to be a heist, I decided.
Heist? Now. Okay, all right.
Sam, I want to be Stuart the capybara.
I love him.
Oh, and also, Sam, I found the maid outfit that I want to buy.
That was fast.
That
We
was
gotta get
yeah.
on that.
I guarantee the minute we're like, no, we're cool. We got the maid outfits. There's Michael going, so you motherfuckers, I'm gonna go to Amazon and get a maid outfit.
It's the thing of like, well, now I have an explanation for why I own this.
Anyone else have any regrets and favorite NPCs?
Ooh.
Oh.
So I know this wasn't in our main campaign, but I loved the like Norse guys that did like the rhyming game.
Yes.
The Brothers
Yeah.
Bragi,
Brothers
yeah.
Bragi.
I love them.
That was fucking cool.
They will be coming back, I know, because a certain hard drinking gnome wanted to challenge them for flighting superiority. So I don't know if we'll get to see that, but you made a lot of promises to a lot of people. You're gonna give a dagger back to a dwarf. You're gonna go drink with Larry and Voss back at his keep. And the Brothers Bragi are definitely going to be there. So who knows? Maybe we'll get to see Woodward do some flight competitions against them.
Absolutely. There's no chance. If the amount of time I've sunk into the minute and 30-second rap I have already written
Nice.
for Woodward, it means that yes, it will happen.
That's
Love
brilliant.
it. But let's see. I think we got Sidney. What's your favorite
guess
NPC? What was the regret that you have?
Well, my favorite NPC is Morel.
Okay.
Yeah, they're my favorite NPC. Especially because they've been there since the beginning. I mean, I remember what?
This is my shocked face.
Shut up. I think I'm also really attached to them because before we started this campaign, before we even like met all of us together, like for the first like play tests that we did, PJ ran a few like test games with me, and Morel was one of the NPCs that showed up in those test games. And so I felt like I had already built a relationship with them before they even came into the game. And also in my test games, Morel and Tobias were like friends. They were
Mine
like
too.
together. They were
Yep.
partners in crime. And so when
Alternate
I got to the
universe.
campaign, I'm like, where's Tobias? And turns out, nope.
Nope. No, they were supposed to be together because I wanted to give all of you an idea of some of the NPCs that I had kind of slated to join you, like Hera, Antigone, Morel, Tobias, Marinle, Logorunun, the whole group of people that were going to like kind of be the background characters to your experience, people you could kind of like learn their stories with, play with, engage with. So like even if you didn't want to role play with each other, you could role play with someone, right? And so I just kind of wanted to show the juxtaposition between Morel, who is this golden retriever who just wants to do well, and Tobias, who I have been describing as a fuckboy, and I think that's very appropriate.
I
Yeah,
think
what trauma?
what was his name?
Definitely a trauma fuckboy.
No, what was it? I think Hera and Tigny, they were, when we played the test game, they were pretty different.
Well, I had to put them into your experience,
Mm-hmm.
and it was in a combative situation. But the one thing that was true is that you were supposed to kind of wonder, like, are they friends or foe? Because you are supposed to go, no, they are friends. And I have to overcome kind of my weirdness around strangers to understand this. I want to do a quick post-mortem on Antigone, because you kind of got to talk to Hera a bit when she wanted to be a princess and when she wanted to go on a dancing date with Tobias. And if you all will let them be around you long enough, Hera does want to hang around you guys, and she does kind of want to get closer to Tobias, who does have a lot of struggling feelings towards her. For
You
things
just
we're going
called
to
him a
season 2.
trauma fuckboy. So like, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
She makes him feel nice and he doesn't know what to do about it because every time he's felt nice, he's gotten really hurt. So that's why
Right.
he's sad.
Yep. A lot of that, and we'll cover all that in season 2. You have no idea. But Antigone, the thing is that she is kind of a hero who has kind of already had her life. She's married to a half-elf woman. Here's the thing. There's a bunch of details about Antigone no one really talked to and got to know. So I want to get this known now, because when season 2 kicks off, Antigone's going to be gone. And here's why. Antigone, this entire time, has been using her mercenary money to give back to her wife, who is basically running a cottage and B&B somewhere in the world.
They're cottagecore lesbians?
Yes, 100%. Her wife is a cottagecore lesbian half-elf who at one point was a warrior who hung up her shield and weapon because who wants to fight for a living. It's terrible. You're going to die. There's so much threat against your life. And she's like, you know what? I like that I'm strong, but I'm tired of being put in the way of violence all the time. So she's running the B&B and tavern. And Antigone has sent her wife enough money that they've been able to grow a tavern into their Airbnb. And now Antigone is going to retire with her wife to run a tavern and B&B. And she is going to give her entire mercenary company over to Hera to run the business.
Wow.
So Antigone is getting to have the hero's victory. She gets to
Call
retire. Hallmark. Call Hallmark.
It's done.
Make this movie, you cowards. Make my super gay cottagecore lesbian movie, you cowards.
So what you're saying is we can do a one shot where we play them, and it's basically like a RPG of Cook and Mama.
Yes.
We run it.
I
Cook
was
and
gonna
Mama
say-
and Bouncer.
I was going to say the maid
special.
crossover. The maid crossover is the people who work the Airbnb.
I'm here for
There's-
it.
Maid cafe.
I'm so here for it.
I need to
I'm down
look
for
it
that.
up, but there is there's a TTRPG where you just basically create an entire town and just role play and create how that town what happens in that town for a year.
I also just want to say I'm
Cool.
sorry that I accidentally built the same thing for the Firebrands.
Don't be.
Thank you.
Again, like no one engaged with Antigone or Hera that much. So it's totally fine that you didn't know. And it's a different story. You had your own awesome the end, and that's what Antigone's getting. It's
I
okay.
hope they become friends.
Yeah,
I mean,
and who doesn't want
different
that life?
universes, but I think we can make it maybe have like a crossover special where Galarian blends with this world.
So we're bringing back Pippo then.
Well, no, 'cause
Found out that's Lord.
Pippo's the right hand of the Everjester. He's a psychopomp now. He's
Right.
dead. Sorry.
Kind of.
But so what was the regret? What was the
Oh.
regret, Sidney?
He really needs this info. Oh, I'm concerned.
I am making all the notes for season 2, y'all.
I think it was her
Killing
not
that one
making a.
guy on accident.
What
I'm
was
sorry.
it?
When I killed that one guy on accident,
Mm.
when I accidentally kicked someone too hard in the face for 13 damage.
Yep.
13.
Yeah.
What if it was instead of 13 one hit for 13 damage, it was 13 punches for 1 damage each.
You know what I just realized?
hmm
When Alona killed Korokos, the last like hit she did was 13.
Mm,
Oh,
Unlucky.
oh.
that's right, because it was 17 and 13, and 13 was the one that put it over.
PJ's like,
Right.
That's more than I want to unbag.
Now
for
you're
the
gonna get
day,
wrapped
y'all.
into some Felix Chance shit.
Welcome.
Now
I'm
I
already
just-
gonna miss an eye, so might as well just jump on.
That's right. You gotta do all that shit to keep your eye, both your eyes actually.
Well,
Yeah,
now
save
I
up
want
that money.
Well, now I want it to be a mechanic that Alona can't kill anyone unless she hits 13 damage. That's a mechanic.
Well, here's the thing: you got to figure out how to
Lucky.
use that. Like that, you're gonna one shot somebody. PJ has planned. Actually, PJ,
Mm-hmm.
here's a question for you.
Okay.
What is one moment that you got worried? Like legit, because I made fun of it at once with
Ooh.
Korokos, but like, what was the one moment where we as a party made you go, right? Okay,
It was his poker face
Every
moment.
game, every game.
Right.
Mhm.
So here's the thing. As a GM, I have to kind of yes and chaos. And thank God for my many years of improv training for that. And the one time where I was like, this will suck. In writing, I have a term called kill your darlings. And what that means is sometimes you have something you love, it's a great idea, a great concept, and you love it on paper, and then you realize it just doesn't work or whatever, and you have to kill your darling. You have to get rid of that thing to make the story better. And it sucks because you love it. So I was 100% ready to kill my darling when Shionibus convinced Leah and Tari to one-shot murder Morel.
ooh, yeah, yeah.
And I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, because
Good
the thing,
times.
all my NPCs are a message. They are a message. They are a story. They are a dialogue. They're meant to be this. Morel has a very important message to carry for the story. And I was like, if he dies and that story's lost, you know what? That's that. And I'll move on. I'll accept that. I'll accept that defeat. I'll move on. I'll let him die. And that's great. And then Sidney was like, no, and healed him. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Okay. Okay.
Right. So in a similar vein, if that's like the one time you were scared, is there, because I've DM'd a few games,
Mhm.
I always get my best ideas about 15 minutes after the game is wrapped up.
Ooh, okay.
Where somebody as a player has said something and they go, damn it, I now have the perfect storyline that I should have run with that, but I said something else. I know that there have been moments in this game where we could not go back to the play. Is there something that sticks in your mind that you had like the perfect idea after we wrapped up?
Oof, that's hard to
things?
say.
I mean, it is like one you'd have to like think back really far. So I don't know if you do have an answer, but I think it says a lot about a DM, you know?
Yeah. That's really difficult because there's a lot of times where something happens and you just yes and it or whatever. There was also, you all are really good at coming to conclusions. And sometimes you come to a conclusion and I'm like, that's stronger than what I wrote, and they kind of want that now, so I have to give that to them. I'm just gonna fuck around with a story and make that happen. I don't know. It's hard to say. Oh, okay. I will say this. So the army of the Five Nations, the battle of the War of the Five Nations, was not something I had fully formed in my head yet. Not something I didn't know if I was going to do yet. I was kind of like planning it out as we were going through it. And then you mentioned something about Woodward. I think you wanted Woodward to be like a Boromir type figure at one point.
Right.
And my brain jumped to War of the Five Armies, War of the Five Nations versus an orc army that wants to cause World War I to happen. This is, yes, that's how I got to do this. So this kind of offshoot, just kind of like riffing is kind of what invented this entire final arc of season 1 with the big culmination of the world fighting for peace.
I guess to clear up for chat, it wasn't that I actually wanted Woodward to die. I just came to the acknowledgement that Woodward would be the perfect character to kill off, have the party be able to move forward, but still have a sadness to the fact that he died. Like, he is very much set up as the Boromir. Like, Boromir throughout the, well, I won't get into the tangent. That's a tangent. I feel
I'm
like
going to go hit the head. Have a tangent while I'm gone.
But overall, I think it's the fact that beloved, helpful, everybody had good moments, but is not pivotal to the main line of the story. Right? Woodward is he helps others figure out where they're going, because at the end of the day, he's a drunk gnome. So but
he's not a naked wizard though, so
yeah, I know. But if you off them, it would be the fact that every single character has a memory with Woodward, how he helped, but it isn't like, well, shit, now we can't get the elves involved because we just killed the goddamn princess, or shit, now we know nothing about the gods because we just killed the cleric. Fuck, Asmacon won't get involved. We just killed the barbarian. Wait, Shin actually has an army and needs a general, and we just killed Rufa? Like, he doesn't have that backbone to his character. So there was a moment where I was talking with PJ where, especially when the Archdruid poisoned him, I was literally messaging PJ and I said, let the dice do what they do. Let the dice, like, do not pull punches, because it was a perfect moment that if he did die, well, the entire game, I think, would have taken a left turn to be like, we're hunting the Archdruid. Like, everybody would have hunted him down. Like, right, I know.
Rufa would have. He would have gone back.
See, that's the thing, though, is that's a perfect, that makes the character.
That's true.
Right? That's why he's the perfect character, is he has an enemy that has screwed over no one else but him. But if he did die from him, everyone goes, fuck that guy in particular. And then run after him. So
I just came back to fuck that guy in particular. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't you.
You went to pee.
Don't worry.
I did.
Ian, could I reveal, because I think I told you about it, but if Woodward was gonna die, Rufa was gonna do a
go ahead. It was actually a cool moment that I received a message in last week's episode because of Woodward's choices. So yeah, please go ahead, Michael.
Rufa bought two things, 2 Featherstone tokens. One of them was a tree token that would have grown a tree, and the other one was one that would have grown a holly bush. and if Woodward was gonna fall during the battle, in the post-mortem and everything, Rufa was going to create either the tree or the holly bush as a memorial for Woodward.
Which is also like the chef's
So
kiss, right?
cool.
Of like a magically grown plant in memoriam of the druid
Yeah.
who died. Like it's a chef's kiss. Like
Mhm.
just
That's
like
beautiful.
perfect. And I was rolling. I would have rolled to let you all know if Woodward did die in the moment. I was going to roll a dice to figure out who Mush went after. Just so it's just be like, great, take Mush, have fun, because he would have moved on,
Aw.
right? I don't want him to not be a part of the story. So,
Yeah.
but
Mush is a special baby. I'm really glad that you decided to have that animal companion. I love Mush.
Later levels you won't like Mush as much, PJ.
That's okay. I am fully
I do
prepared
Mush.
to have you come back and be like, by the way, here's my
Right.
Terminator badger. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna be like, fuck.
Oh, I got ideas where I realized I was sitting there and I'm like, Tejon's cool. I can do that.
Dude, I have been planning so much for the final chapter, the final season of this story. There's so much stuff. And I know I dropped a lot in the last episode, but like, some breadcrumbs here and there. The one thing, and I wish I had phrased this a little less cheesy, was when the Green King was talking about like this chosen person. Because looking over at the playback in the VOD, I was like, the look on my player's face, and they're like, chosen person? Really, PJ? And I'm like, no, but trust me, no, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
No, that's not what I was thinking at all. I was just thinking like, like that was my internal thought process. Just,
I think my thought was it may have looked like that, but my actual thought was I made way too many jokes of ditching Joey for him to be the chosen one. I'm like, get rid of that kid. We don't need him. Fucking stick him with his dream cast or whatever the hell it is. Stick him in the corner of a bar. We got to get him fighting these orcs. It's fine. He'll be okay. And then they say chosen one, and I'm like,
oh shit. Joey is going to be the overall BBEG, the Elder God.
Ian and I have been talking about this since day one that this kid has shown up. We're like, this kid is an eldritch horror. I know
my
it.
God.
Yeah.
You know it.
In speaking segue of eldritch horrors, Rain Touch just asked, what's a plot thread you wish your character had pulled on more? And I wish that our main characters had any concept of Daltonshire and like what the fuck is going on there, because there were so many times where it was like, and you're passing right by Daltonshire, and us as players are all just like, but like our characters don't know what that is, like
Well,
I mean,
I attempted with a recall knowledge roll.
I'm changing my biggest regret. Walking down a fucking alley by myself in the first Daltonshire campaign. That's my largest regret as a player. I got to play that Daltonshire game for 15 minutes. And the character I came up with had a deeper backstory than Woodward, like by tenfold. I was stoked on this guy, and he was just like, insta death.
Well, if you want to send me that backstory, you never know. Look, we have one relic of the Nightmare of Daltonshire still alive, of course, the Lady of Doors. We have a few others that are going to pop up here and there, but I will say this about that. Number one, Ichi got to know the word Kamba and not go insane and die from madness at Osmagon.
Sam doesn't remember that at all. I better write that down.
You also have a chair.
Yes.
You have a chair that does electricity damage.
Kamba is written as KH, 3 A's, the letter M, uppercase letter B, 2 A's, all one word.
Making notes.
And then writing it wrong.
It's okay. No, all of these are weird names. I totally get it. Like, I totally understand. But I will say this. What do you think the Revenge of Daltonshire is for? And why do you think at some point I said that you may have to play a Halloween game as your PC?
Oh no.
Right. Right.
No, we're not going to die.
I like it. I like horror.
We're not going to die because Alona has the freaking dimension door that my NPC from the original Daltonshire campaign gave me. So maybe that'll save us. Maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
I do want to say that I've seen this in the chat and this makes me smile a lot. I keep seeing let's see, Avenger Penguin said, if you're talking about NPCs, PJ, whatever happened to Jeremy of the Ooze? Maybe a Jeremy Adventure offshoot. The Compass Rose has done a world census and they found that Jeremy is the most popular name in the world of Edge of Legend. And there's a reason for that. And we'll get to that in a very special one shot.
Oh, also, I just remembered Jeremy Ooze is part of Rufus' commission.
That's right. You definitely paid him money. You paid the nicest, sweetest Ooze man money to be in your. And Kylie, you get a hero point in season 2 for doing that.
Hell yeah.
So
I love
I
Jeremy.
imagine
I really do.
I'm so glad.
This is what I imagine is like you opening up a one shot and feel free to steal this idea with a character like there's a table with many figures around this table and this very authoritative figure is like this and goes, Jeremy, 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 Jeremy. I bet you're wondering why I've gathered you here today.
But do all the Jeremys have to reply with Jeremy after they're introduced by Jeremy?
Oh my god.
Jeremy. Like
The count.
Maybe they do.
The Council of Jeremys is the Council of 13 from Venture Brothers.
I'm seeing Reach Like he also says, are there any plans to incorporate new Ancestries in the world of EOL canon as they release new books? Great question. My goal is yes. Obviously, when Sidney and I made this world in 2019, the world, the TTRPG world, the whole place was a very different landscape than what it is now in 2021. So I'd love to absolutely incorporate all these other Ancestries in a way that feels more than just like, yeah, sure, go ahead. I want to write those stories out and figure that out in depth so that they will be there because I want you all to have whatever character you want to build fit in this world. Someone asked me when the World Setting book will be released. It will be released along with the Astrogenicon, as well as the Ballad of the Felvanane, as well as everything else. But please give me time. I'm a busy man.
Oh,
But I will write the materials and release them on Drive to RPG eventually.
He works hard.
yeah.
For the money.
I just realized something. I never said who was my favorite NPC.
Who was your favorite
Right.
NPC, Michael?
This is actually going to be, I don't think anybody's going to expect this, but it also might be a little controversial, actually.
Oh no.
Okay.
Michael.
Loaf on Terrace.
Loaf and
Loaf-
Sempris?
Loaf and
Loaf and
Sempris.
Sempris. Yes, the Loaf Man.
Yeah. Kylie just punches
The
the air.
See, honestly,
will destroy that man with every fiber of my being.
thing is though, like I believe there's always got to be a bastard. So, Rufa, he's bastard adjacent, but the Loaf Man, he's just total bastard.
I'm the loaf man.
Yes, that's my nickname for him, the Loaf Man.
The loaf
The
man.
loaf man. He's just a bread loaf with a personality. That's all he
Yeah.
is.
Does he know the muffin man?
The muffin man.
Yeah, could be. But like I said, I really do think there's always always have to have that shady individuals. A lot like what's that one show? Game of Thrones.
Right.
You always have to have someone that you kind of can't trust. And Lofen, he's kind of what's his name? The guy with the mustache. The
Littlefinger.
He's Littlefinger.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. Oh, I'm trying to catch up on the chat, y'all. There's a lot
Wait,
of awesome
I have
stuff.
a question. Well, not a question.
Uh-oh.
I have a comment because I've been
Yes.
thinking about this for a few different things. So going off of what I'm going to call my AU theoretical one shots. So for Kylie, it was Shionobus's dating game, of course. For Sidney, it would be Alona at a derby. So roller derby.
Yes!
For Alona. And then for Rufa, it would be like your network and you sending them on like an assassination or something like that. And then like, everyone plays the different characters of your group. Woodward. Actually, it was the cooking mama thing. That was like where that idea first came up. But it was going to be alcohol for the gods, basically.
Great.
It's
Love
so
it.
it's so funny you mention that. One night after one of our shows, or somewhere before a show happened, we were talking about something, and I remember I got an audio file in the group chat, and it was just Ian as Woodward asking Felix Chance for a pub crawl around the world,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
I was
did
like,
that.
that done, effing done. So yeah, I don't know when that's going to happen. I'm not going to put that expectation on anyone, but just know that I am down to run the world pub crawl for EOL.
Man, I've got to search back in our chat for that, because for whatever reason it was like, well, it was something to do. There was a reason for it though, of why we were trying to pub crawl, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was definitely a reason. And yes, to everybody at home, I do send audio files of me speaking Woodward's voice to our group chat.
Kylie, you were gonna say something.
So just as like a side note, for Ra's Rave Party Part 2, can we have Woodward be the bartender?
Oh
Right.
my!
Hear me out.
Rochelle
Hear
needs
me
a
out.
night off.
Yeah. Where she's like, I got the man for you. The
Such a
gnome
good
for
idea.
you.
Oh my god.
I'm just saying.
I'm down. Whenever we make Raw's Rave Party 2 happen, Odin Boogaloo, whatever the hell we're gonna call it. I'm
One-eyed
super
boogaloo.
the one-eyed Boogaloo. Oh, that's so good, bad. We're doing that. That's the
Great.
name of it.
It's fantastic. Hey, look, I can sign off.
Okay,
We're
yeah.
good.
As a Norse pagan, I trust you. Hold on, Odin, one-eyed Boogaloo. I'll be super down to have him
Kid
be
you
the
not. I think I just heard a chuckle in the back of my mind.
There
I
it
kid
is.
you not.
I like to respond to two things that Benching Penguin posted. One of them is about Michael, just give a good Capybara character description and to me sometime, and I can make some worthy fan art. Honestly, you already did that picture of Stuart that you made a while back. That vacant look as he's licking his eyeball was
Oh my god,
perfect.
that was amazing.
100% perfect. And also about what about a one shot with Rufa's commission helpers? Hey, everybody, who wants to do some crimes?
Right.
Crime.
Yeah, I mean,
Crime.
that's
I'm
what
gay.
Sam was like. Any of those helpers and playing, I mean, I call Loafin. I just want to play Loafin through all those scenarios, but
All right, but that means that Sam plays the darkness.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
That would be freaking dope. That means I call Ooze Jeremy.
Nice.
Kylie, I don't know who you want.
I know. I don't even know who's in this.
Precious?
Precious would be good.
Precious.
True. That's true.
Do you know who I realized that I'm, and it shouldn't, as far as favorite NPC, I said Rochelle. I don't know if they could be considered an NPC just because they're not our main character, but I also have fond memories of rooting for Laszlo beyond hope. Like, I just thought about that right now. It was just like everybody shouting Laszlo in the our first campaign with Daltonshire was just like,
Yeah.
there's no reason you should have survived. No reason, Michael.
No.
Like, moment after moment, there's no reason Laszlo should have been around more than he was, and it just kept happening, and the dice just kept falling where they were, and that could come down as my favorite NPC/PC.
It was beautiful.
He definitely survived the longest when his HP made no sense for him to be alive. Those medicine checks, everything else kept you alive until finally dying 4 kicked in, and you just couldn't do it any longer.
Hey PJ, if we ever decide to not to kind of expand beyond just Pathfinder for the Edge of Legends game, I would recommend, if I could ever figure out this game, this is going to be the crime game.
I saw you picking that up. I'm down for that. If you guys want to do the commission run by Michael Powell doing Blades in the Dark, that could be a lot of fun. Trying something new.
Ooh,
No rules. The rules are very light for that game.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat. Oh yeah, Mahooch was talking about the time Ian was killed in 12 minutes of Daltonshire. I felt so bad because you went down the one path to instantly die. You had one chance to save yourself, and you just didn't roll high enough. It's not your fault.
Ian, you
That's
should know by
mean.
now. You can't go down a dark alley. We've been to LARP. Like you
Yeah, I
should just
know.
know this by now.
I know.
Oh my
Mhm.
god. It was Murder Alley.
It was
Yeah.
Murder
Here's the
Alley.
thing: is I can hoof it at LARP. that is my ultimate armor. Is me
True.
just taking that distance running that I do and just booking it. But
So
Wait. Sorry, go ahead, Sam.
no, you go first because mine's gonna take a left turn.
Okay, mine is also gonna take a left turn. PJ, who's doing your Jasper's game day?
Oh, like who's in it?
Yeah.
So we have 3 guests. To remember. I'm now going in the Discord chat where they're at, so I can be very short. But I know the 2 people that won the seats, Reap Psyche and Hedgie Cleric from the chat, have won the auctions and will be playing with us in a one-shot that takes place during the Great Dragon War era, 5,000 years before Edge of Legend, in a very big special mission that is actually lore canonical. So you guys, you 2 players and the
Cool.
3 guests we have, you will be making Edge of Legend history as you are actively playing in the last days of that era.
That's hella cool.
Yeah.
So for another left turn, PJ, you said you were gonna roll a dice to tell us cringe stories.
Yes,
Is it
indeed.
time? Since we're at 9:43, it seems like it's the right time.
I think you're right. We're going to do this cringe story, and then we're going to go take a 5-minute break. I think that sounds pretty safe. Okay, that's a 9. Okay, let me take a look at this handy dandy thing I wrote down. Okay, so I was almost arrested by a state trooper when I was 8 years old in the state of Illinois.
Oh, I know this.
What?
I think you know the story. Okay, so when I was 8 years old, 8 or 9 years old, I went to a family gathering in the state of Illinois where I have family at. Someone was graduating, and my brain thought it was a bar. Apparently, it was a pizza place, but it was a bar. And I was bored out of my skull because I was 9 years old, and there was all these adults talking. I didn't really know what to do. So there's a payphone in the back when payphones were a thing. And I'm trying to entertain my 9-year-old ADHD brain by calling fake numbers and having fake prank calls to no one on the other line. Well, what I did not know at the time, and no one needs to know this now because payphones are gone, is that 911 is always free on a payphone. That's the moral of the story. As I begin to call 911, say stupid childhood pranks and hang up, because I'm trying to entertain myself. I'm 10, 11, 12 calls and hang up. And then on the 13th call, I hear a voice say something and I hang up. And I go hang out with my family. Just, perfect little angel, did nothing wrong. Don't look at me. What are you doing? Suddenly, 2 massive state troopers come walking into the restaurant. Guns on hips, flashlights, the whole, bad haircuts, the whole 9. And they're like, we've been getting notices of prank phone calls coming from this area, and I'm sitting there shrinking in my chair trying not to be seen, and they're looking around for whoever's doing this. And my family, the only group of 20 people in this restaurant all by themselves, are looking very confused, like, what are you talking about? No one at all has been doing that. And little dumbass me is raises his hand slowly.
Oh, honesty.
That was me.
lawful good. Lawful good. Lawful good.
Lawful good. I was like, I left the prank phone calls, and the 2 state troopers, I don't know if they knew that it was a child or if they were shocked, but they look at me and they went, this is a warning. If you do that again, we're throwing you in prison. And then they walk away. And I was
On
just
this week's episode of Scared Straight.
yeah. We scared the shit out of a young child who pranked phone calls 911. We totally humiliated him in front of his family. Meanwhile, my family's like, really? And I'm like, I was bored.
Right.
It was
Wow.
in 3rd grade.
You haven't changed.
The start of PJ's origin story.
Yo, I'm
That was
a
a good one.
Tasmanian devil. Yeah, so we're gonna take a 5-minute break on that note. When we come back in 5 minutes, we are going to do more roll for cringy stories. We're gonna do more Q&As, more questions, season 1, season 2, NPCs, characters, whatever you want to do. But we'll see you at 9:50 p.m. Love you guys.
Oh no.
Joe, are you there?
Joe's
Are you
right
I
there,
here.
Joe?
don't think they're there.
Oh
I
no,
love you,
Joe.
Joe.
We'll just dance.
They're busy doing other things.
Joe's double tasking, and we respect that.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
also
Yeah.
super
Joe
You're doing
is
great,
actually doing an
thanks.
amazing
Yeah.
work for another awesome channel right now, and he was
Yes.
kind enough to come here and still TD for us. So, Joe, we
Yeah.
love you and we thank you so much for that.
Yes.
Giving
Well,
us
do we
this
have
time.
to go off air for break? Can we just be like, hey, we'll come back and we'll chit chat while everyone else
Stare
comes
at this
back?
empty wall.
You know what?
We'll,
you know
we'll
what?
filter. Maybe we filter half and half. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
gotta pee, so
I'll tell-
I'm gonna leave the camera.
I
But
already
if
went
you
to
don't have to
pee.
Yeah.
pee. Maybe
Yeah.
stay.
You know what? I'll tell you what. Let's just okay.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
is.
Oh, Joe's
yeah.
there. Joe's there.
Absolutely,
Okay,
Joe.
I'm
Whenever you're
good.
ready,
Sorry
put us
about
on break, man. We'll be back at 9:51
Thank you.
p.m.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm good. We could have done Rufus Lounge.
And there we go. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for that 5-minute break. We are back. We are fully stocked on round 2s and 3s and 4s in some people's case. And we are back here for the Q&A post-mortem season 1. So if you have any questions about season 1, questions about season 2, question to these amazing legends, these heroes of tomorrow, or the GM, please ask. I did see someone ask, are there going to be more NPCs in season 2? Of course. You're gonna have to go traveling the world. You know, you've been in Adolfon Prime for an entire season. Now the world's gonna open up some, and depending on your choices, more than that. And so it only makes sense that you go and meet new people, including the NPCs in different countries, different organizations, different dimensions. So there will be more. Tune in and find out who those are. I guess I don't know. That's my lame pitch, but it's gonna be awesome. You're gonna love it.
I'm just excited whose backstory we go into next. Because we've gotten some really cool shit from Rufa and Shionibus. Like Shionibus has a whole demon thing going on, and Rufa's got the whole mouth
We
of
wanna talk about it.
Shin. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it eventually.
Yeah, girl, you and I are gonna have to talk off camera because we gotta iron that out.
Oh my god. Yeah. Like both you and Michael have had some really awesome like lore drops over the past few episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really excited I want to go to Shin and I want to go to Nubia real freaking bad.
No, you don't. It's fine. It's fine.
Are
Everything's
you not
fine.
ready for the spotlight, Kylie? Is that what you're saying? Are you not ready for the
Pretty
pressure of being
princess.
the main character for your arc?
Look, why have a backstory if you can't live your best life dealing with the trauma of it? We're gonna get to have such. Look, Ichi got to have a WrestleMania where her parents showed up to support her, where her best friend became her best self, where she passed off the
Yeah.
mantle to the next generation in Pangolina and still get her family honor, her personal honor, and fight her greatest challenge and learn more about her own home. Who can say what's in store for you?
Good. And to segue in related senses, Rain Touch just asked, what goals do you as a player have for your character that your character would not be okay with? And it sounds like maybe Kylie should go first.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, please, Kylie, go first in that question.
I'm actually not going to answer this question because I do feel like it'd be spoilers.
Oh,
Okay.
that's cool though.
I'm
Which
going
means
to
Shionibus won't be happy, but
She
Kylie
will
will
not
be
be
like,
happy.
"Yeah."
killing the game. And she's gonna be
Really?
like,
Kylie's like subconscious goal is to give Shunibus as much trauma as possible by making the most chaotic decisions. Just
what are
Just-
you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
What?
You know chaos is my life.
Yeah.
Come on.
oh, absolutely.
Now that being said, Kylie, just wink once if yes, wink two if no. That thing I told you about at Sidney's birthday party after a few drinks in. You still down to do that? Wink one yes, twice no.
Am I winking or am I blinking?
Wink once yes, twice no. Dope. Okay, so I know what our filler arc is going to be, y'all.
It doesn't have to be now. It can be down the road, but we chilling. We
Okay,
chilling.
okay. So in January, when we come back from our 2-week hiatus, we're going to start the story arc that I just winked with.
God damn it.
Ah!
The gauntlet.
Well,
been
what about?
thrilling.
I'm actually really curious to hear about this from Michael. Michael, the question that Rain Touched asked: what plans do you have for Rufa that Rufa would not be okay with?
I'm willing to further elaborate very, very tiny bit because I'm on the same kind of level as Kylie here, because I feel it's going to be very, very spoily if I say too much. But there is a very, very good reason why Rufus keeping his past a secret. He's yeah, it's let's just say it does deal with there's life and death consequences to that. And sorry.
No, go ahead.
And I also want to say, but one of the things I can say though is we touched a little about this on At the Table, our show on Wednesdays at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on this channel, that if there's ever the chance for like a filler story or whatever, hey PJ, I still would love be down for Rufa, King of Hell.
I don't know about that. I might put the kibosh on that, but I'm sorry, but how are you gonna show up to hell and be like, hey, Magadon, Ravan, Tarzan, everyone else, I'm better than you? They're like, they're not human. Crush.
I have an
Crushing your head.
idea. It's gonna be Rufa, King of Hell. It's gonna be a theme park that Rufa put together for like whatever the Halloween equivalent holiday is, and he has hired a lot of scare actors.
I actually read a great book, and I 1000% recommend this to everyone. It's called Johannes Cabal, Professional Necromancer, and it is literally this. It is a story about this like German English necromancer who's been alive for too long, and he makes a deal with Satan to get his soul back, which he gave in exchange for the art of necromancy. And Satan just goes, hey, wouldn't it be funny if you had to give me 100 souls vis-a-vis an amusement park? And Johannes Cabal, who has like no people skills, is like, I don't find this funny. And it's like, no, it's hilarious. Go do it, or else. That's it. And the whole book is this like emotionless, cold, no social skills having necromancer who tries to put together an amusement park to get 100 human souls so he can get his mortal soul back. Recommend the book. It's terrific. It's satire. It's very much a Terry Pratchett book done in a modern author's voice. And I am down to make all that happen. That will be Rufa, King of Hell.
That's funny.
Actually,
I love that.
I'm just gonna say I also have a possible other idea, but we could talk about this off stream.
Sure.
Also, really quick, Hedgie Cleric posted, when are we gonna do Dead Meat? Oh, it's gonna be I want to say 2022 at some point, but I have plans. I have ideas.
Dead Meat. What is Dead Meat?
Our Galarian game where it's basically fantasy cowboys.
Oh, you mean Blood Money Part 2?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
One-eyed Boogaloo?
One-eyed Boogaloo?
Yeah. Well, Ian, I guess kind of going off of brain touched questions, like what plans do you have for Woodward? Like, do you feel comfortable talking now about what you plan Woodward doing while we're gone?
Yeah, totally. And I think that's because wherever Woodward comes involved with the game from here on out is going to be completely different than what there's a beauty to it. Is me stepping away, which is unfortunate due to other circumstances, but me jumping back in as Woodward, the world is going to have changed so drastically every single time I come back that my plan for Woodward is going to shift wildly. So my thought originally for Woodward that Woodward would probably not be okay with is that at some point or another to avoid the issues that he has brought up, which will be extrapolated on further down the road, especially with the Archdruid and such, the best thing he can do is walk away from being a druid. Because the title that he has been given is the problem. And so my thing is eventually, especially now that I see this, it ties into the fact that Woodward, I was upset that Woodward wasn't involved with the gods in the beginning, was that I could have stepped him out of being a druid a little cleaner into being a cleric if I would have thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
So still involved in all of the nature magic and everything if he was not a cleric of Rochelle, but of a Nadir. It would be all the same magic, would be able to run all the same things, but he just wouldn't be a druid anymore. Woodward would be broken by this, but I think it's a cool step And I think it's just a show of reverence that really separates the difference between a nature cleric and a druid.
Going
So
off of
that's where
that,
I would have pushed him.
If you'd had made that decision of him becoming a cleric way before, do you think, though we don't know who the Archdruid is to Woodward, do you think events still would happen and the Archdruid would still be after Woodward, even if he did turn to cleric?
I think so, only for what took place. I think the Archdruid sees what Woodward did as a inexcusable crime, which was touched on in the actual campaign a little bit. But the thing is Woodward would be able to come back with the backing of a god, not just primal magic, which could be faced against. Like if he's fighting other druids and we're all slinging spells at each other that are the same thing. It's the fact now that he is a god or a cleric of the god Nadir that would have changed things. So I think the Archdruid arc doesn't change at all. It's just how Woodward handles it that would change things. Yeah.
I know. We had a long phone call, an amazing long phone call.
Yeah.
It was great. Talking about the Merry Wives of Woodward, kind of planning that out, and we have a lot of stuff planned. And with his permission, I may kind of carry over some of the story arcs that we were talking about. So you may also have to deal with some of the ramifications of Woodward's past without him around, unfortunately. I mean, hopefully you can come in if time permits.
Oh yeah, no,
but
totally.
You may have to deal with that.
Woodward was built for this world, so any ramification, Woodward will be showing up when I can play. I've even given PJ full license to bring Woodward into the story as a NPC that he can play. Mush is going to be around. He is a part of the world. He was specifically. I thought of creating this character for Edge of Legend. I'm not going to separate Edge of Legend from this character. Just because I'm not around doesn't mean he's not goofing off in the corners of the world, right? And that's the beautiful thing that PJ does all the time with his campaigns already. Every single time we goof off in another corner, Korikos was still planning a war, right? Like there were still things happening and chugging along in the background. And I feel that although the party may be missing Woodward moving forward, that doesn't mean Woodward isn't getting things done right off of camera.
Yeah,
So.
when you told me your plan for Woodward's kind of individual story, I thought to myself, 100% that can be the case. And along the way, you kind of build relationships with a bunch of NPCs, whereby if Woodward does have his own life away from camera, he has a full and vibrant journey of his own.
Right.
Not just, growing closer to Nadir and healing the damage done by the war. If for nothing else than the two gigantic craters made by the floating corpse dragon castle during the War of the Five Nations, but everything that's been war ravaged, which to your knowledge is really little, but in the greater plan, remember Korikos is fighting a war on every front. So there is whole nations, countries, corners of the world that have been destroyed, ravaged, invaded by a force that stopped because he had to put all of his eggs in one basket. And you want to go out and you want to heal that damage. And I think the greatest metaphor in real world history for what you're doing is a battlefield at Verdun, which is one of the most beautiful and terrifying stories. And if you want to love who J.R.R. Tolkien was as a man and not just a writer, look at what he survived in World War I. Not only the Battle of the Somme River, which is the bloodiest battle in history, but the Battle of Verdun, which is 303 days straight of just death. And it's tragic and it's ugly and it's fascinating, but it's horrific. And they just released photos of Verdun in 2021. And it has finally healed from the damage of World War I. I mean, you can still see craters where water just kind of puddles up every morning when the dew steams and rises. But after the worst fighting in Earth's existence in 2021, that battlefield has finally gotten better. And I can see Woodward and Nadir basically trying to heal the world from the ravages and fallout of that.
So I took that actually from I took the same thing from actually the battlefield of Culloden. And the big thing with that, and the reason that that's a big deal is that, I mean, outside of the, damn it, I forgot the name of the series. There's a hot Scottish man in a kilt. He barely wears
Outlander.
a shirt, and a woman.
Outlander.
There it is.
Outlander.
Outlander.
I got you.
Yeah, super. Yeah, Jamie. Right, that's his name. Right, super hot guy.
Yeah. But
He
he's super
but
scared and he's
right.
super like traumatized.
right. And only the future woman can help it. But anyway, the besides all that, Battle Culloden, the reason that that's such a big deal is the fact that only grass is inside of that glen now. And it's because grass is the only thing that can withstand the iron content in the soil. And the only reason the iron is polluted in the soil is because of the amount of blood spilt. And we still don't have trees growing there.
Yeah.
That's it's a ridiculous concept to think about, right?
Yeah.
But just like that is where I took Woodward's thing, is no matter what war they fought, no matter what took place, the farmlands of Agrippa upon a Bear, goodbye. If nobody steps in. The every single green wood outside of Adelphon Prime, where we were fighting those towers. Good night. There's nothing there left. The like plants can't handle that. So that's where I took Woodward's thing, is he's going off with Nadir to fix all that damage so we don't have a giant glen of empty grasses.
Yeah. Because like even Islay and Shulg protecting the farmlands of Eastern Agrippa upon a Bear, there's still the irrevocable damage of humankind upon it. Well, in this case, warkind upon it. So yeah, no, I think that's going to be an awesome story, and I cannot wait to also have the official rap battle between the brothers Braggy and Woodward. I'm so looking forward to that.
Specifically in our conversation, the reason we had, we both agreed that Woodward should be going and doing this thing is because it also gives me as a player, the beautiful moment of hearing you guys are near a place. I have free time. I can check in as Woodward. And there's no saying that he wasn't fixing something that was ravaged by war right outside of where you guys happen to be.
Yeah.
You can run into him at any time because now he's just randomly wandering the wastes.
He's a player NPC like you get any LARP.
Hey, PJ and Ian, I just had an idea. Like maybe down the road we could do a one-shot of Woodward's quest of people he met during his journey.
That's cute.
Fascinating.
Right. Yeah. And that's, I mean, that could actually be fun because there could be an entire band of the dogs of war. Right?
The brother of the dogs,
the other dogs that he's brought in since then, the outcasts and the outliers. We can run with all sorts of things. So
Sidney, you wanted to say something. I'm so sorry. What was it?
I just want to say this is why I love you guys as storytellers. Like both of you, when you really put your brains together, are a really amazing team. And honestly, like that, the uniqueness that you bring to storytelling is really impressive because you both understand history so well, and you both know how to pull from narrative storytelling and things that have happened in our world, the real world, and how that narratively works within a story. And together, you guys actually have created some very beautiful moments. And I love seeing behind the curtain of how you work together and seeing how you've developed these characters and what your plans are. And it's actually just really beautiful to see because, you know, we're a small team of very, I feel like, passionate individuals about storytelling. That's who we are. We're all friends. We all bonded over this one show. And I feel like it's just really amazing to see that even though things are changing, the heart of what we do is still there, and it's all about story, and it's all about making this world cohesive and making sure that there's always space for each one of our teammates and our players, even if, you know, as life goes on. And I really appreciate that about everyone here. And yeah, that just hit me just now, so I just wanted to say it.
Thank
you.
No, yeah, thank you so much. I do have to say that was like the first 45 minutes of our 3.5 hour conversation we had, and the rest was Myriad Wives of Woodward and everything that's coming your way.
So check it out, January 29th.
thank you. Honestly, Sydney, thank you so much. Really.
Yes.
I appreciate that. It's so funny that you say that because that's just PJ and I extrapolating on the first 45 minutes of like, okay, if we're doing this, where are you taking Woodward? Had the conversation.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was, okay, mechanics time. Let's do this. And it was 3 hours afterwards of just us going back to back to back shooting ideas and us both realizing that we both gave each other a vague outline, and in a month or two we'll end up seeing each other, or a week or two we'll end up seeing each other with like what we wrote, and we'll combine both of them, we'll call it good.
Yep. Like
But-
it'll be a different game every hour because we're
Yeah.
gonna switch GMs. So it's gonna be like this is
Absolutely.
one style and then this style, and
Right.
then it's gonna be an absolute beautiful
Throw your-
clusterfuck. It's gonna be
throw
great.
your cohesiveness out the window.
Hey, I got a question for everybody, and also PJ, you can answer this actually from Morel. Actually,
All right.
Do you think like everybody's characters, when they start off, their alignment, are they still on their alignment, or do you think has skewed towards something else now?
That's a good question.
Yes. Can I answer this first?
Yes, please.
Okay. So when I built Alona, I knew that I wanted her to have a trajectory of growth. Like I wanted her to change drastically. She's basically a nun, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And like what is a nun? What happens when a nun sees the outside world and puts what she's read in books into reality? And so I would argue that the reason I built Alona was for her to purposefully shift from lawful good to chaotic good. And I hope that I've done that transition very well. Because I really wanted to play that conflict in that character of being like, this is how things work. Like, this is how I've read that it's done. This is how it happens. And then actually experiencing life and discovering like, oh no, life more complicated. So yeah, I think Alona is definitely more chaotic good now than lawful good. I mean, she still's got listen, that religious upbringing does not just go away.
Would you then
I mean,
say-
you've only killed 2 people.
Listen, okay. Listen. The first one, okay. Yeah, she's
the
gonna
first
have
one's the
she's gonna-
past.
yeah, she's gonna have to deal with the fallout of her killing people after this season. She's gonna have to deal with that psychologically a
Look,
lot.
if you want to like meet up with a champion of chaotic good, talk to Awan the Chainbreaker. He is the liberator of Tezuko. He's the liberator of Ogwin. He'll let you know what it's like to be a chaotic good.
Sid, do you think right now she's chaotic good now, or she's more still on that way of going from lawful good towards chaotic good?
Okay. I feel like she's okay. That's a very good point. I still feel like she is transitioning, but I do feel like she's way more chaotic good now than when she started. Just because like I really enjoy characters that have an inner conflict, characters that have a lot more depth, and characters that have room to grow. And she's definitely not done growing. But it's going to be a slow burn because we have a lot more story to tell. And if she was already at her like final like, oh, I'm totally chaotic good, all that lawful good stuff that I learned is out the window. Like it feels too soon for that. So I appreciate the clarification. She's still on her journey, but the ultimate trajectory is for her to learn so much more about life and to develop more as a person and to learn through her friendships, through the people she's traveling with.
I love that because I definitely have seen your growth along the way. I mean, struggling with being a pacifist and fighting for your beliefs physically is a journey that, of course, is always a struggle when you've been a pacifist your whole life. And I know I've mentioned this in other streams. I know we talked about this in public, hanging out. But there's a great quote, and it's on TikTok, so you probably heard it. To say you are a pacifist and be incapable of violence is basically to say that you are useless, that you are effectiveless. But
Harmless.
if you are harmless, that's the exact word I'm looking for. But if you are a pacifist and capable of violence, now you are someone who is purposely stepping away from, I can create violence, but I choose not to because the world needs less violence. You know,
Yeah.
now you are someone who is actually kind of creating a philosophical challenge. And I think that's something we kind of talked about with Alona, like the fact that you were the one that killed Korikos was such an important thing, because remember, let me give you some hints about Korikos' psychology. Death, destruction, war. If you cannot fight, then you are not valuable. If you cannot kill him, then you are not in this world. You are chaff to be cut. Here's the thing. He looked at Shonibus and he was like, you are already broken. You are already this person that you let life kill you. I will not fear you. If you can kill me, okay, great. You are a killer, but you are a dead killer. Rufa, you are a manipulator. You are this person that lies instead of dealing with your problems head on aggressively. I do not fear you. I do not respect you. Woodward, he actually respected the hell out of, because Woodward was that kind of little chaotic neutral. That to him, I know Woodward is true neutral. I know that. But to Korikos, that neutrality meant that you were capable of killing if it meant it was the right choice. And to that, he was like, you fight for peace. You will kill for peace. You could potentially kill someone and find justice in this. I respect this. I respect that you are neutral enough to know when you have to kill and when not to. Ichi, he's like, you are a killer. If you kill me, I will die by superior strength. There is no way that me fighting you is a bad deal. But looking at Alona, he's like, you pacifist. You will never be on my level. You will never be a threat to me. So the fact that you looked him in the eyes when he said, pacifist, you cannot kill me, it's not in your nature, and you put him 6 feet deep.
Just like bitch slapped him so hard.
Dude, that was poetic. Not only growth for your character, if you ever needed your Avengers moments, like that was it. In fact, truth be told, the song that I picked for the final Tell Me the Tale of season 1, I tried to find the closest song to the Avengers theme song I could find on my free music database, because I wanted you all to have this moment where I wanted you to realize you are the world's Avengers. You are the 6 heroes that rose up out of chaos when no one else thought that they could handle this. Even though, sure, 1 million people showed up to fight the battle, you were the 6 to win the war. Because that's what I want you guys to know about. That from here on out, in season 2, you're going to have to live with the reality that the whole world knows who you are now. The whole world knows about the heroes of tomorrow. The heroes.
That's a great point.
That survived and saved the world from what could have actually been World War Orc. And I know it doesn't feel like that. I know it feels like you still fought that war, but in reality, you stopped World War Orc from happening. You just had to fight the one big battle to prevent the whole world from breaking into total war. You saved it.
Oh shit.
Kylie, what about you? What about Shonavis? What do you
Yes,
think?
Kylie.
I had always had Shionibus as chaotic neutral, given that she was a mercenary at one point. She always kind of does things for money. And I do think she's pretty much stuck with chaotic neutral from the get-go to now. I don't think that's changed. Though I don't know if some of you have watched the new series Arcane, which is my new hyperfixation.
I haven't yet.
There's a quote in there that I'll just say the quote. I won't explain in context what it is. But a person says, you will die for a cause, but you won't fight for one. And currently, I feel like that is a very good explanation of kind of where Shionibus is in life.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure her shit out, kind of. And so I do think she's on this still chaotic neutral. I'm going to do what I want, but is kind of, I don't know, guys, help me out if you think Shionibus has changed at all. But I do feel like she's kind of still chaotic, neutral, has kind of shifted to chaotic good maybe, but kind of teeters the line.
I feel like the important transition for Shionibus is, just personally from narrative storytelling standpoint, is watching her, because she's running away from responsibility, right? She's terrified of it. She doesn't want anything to do with it because it's too much. but she keeps being put in these situations where she keeps having to, you know, deal with the reality of who she is and her station and accept that responsibility, and that is her growth.
Mhm.
And the way that I see Shionabis, and this is just my perspective, but the way that I see Shionabis's growth is that she's learning how to be that leader.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely if I can't be a leader to these people, I'm going to be a leader to these 6 misfits who have just banded together. I think my favorite moment, kind of tying this in, is the moment between Shionabis and Woodward at like the very beginning episodes. It was a PJ knows what I'm talking
I
about.
know,
When
yeah.
Woodward's like, you need to get your shit together because you are the only one who knows what the fuck they're doing. And that has really stuck with her for this whole time, these several months of just fighting this war and trying to figure everything out. And it's really like, if I can't be a leader to whatever, I'm gonna be the best leader to these 6 people and give them my life.
Mhm.
Like, I will give my life if that means the rest of these 5 will live, or 9 of us, because all the NPCs
Right.
are
Well, minus 1. Antigone is going away, but
I honestly hope that shifts in Shionabis's mind. It's not the fact that as a leader you have to rule like she would have to rule the Nubian nation. She's a leader to just the people around her.
Mhm.
And that's enough. And that's enough to change history.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's I think, and not knowing, seriously, that entire conversation happened because I, as Ian, thought, okay, if anybody in our party should be the leader, it's the super old elf who has connections, right?
Mhm.
Like that's just at a not realizing she was a princess, right?
Yeah, no one
That
knew
she
at that
had
point.
any of that. Nobody knew. So any of that whole like side thing of going, you need to step up and be who you are, is Woodward's like best the best thing he has to say to her. I hope that Shionabis at some point steps away from like, you know what, I don't need to be the best queen or princess. I just need
Mhm.
to be the best leader for those around me,
Yeah.
because that is enough to change the tide,
Mhm.
right? Because at the end of the day, the tip of the spear did that.
Mhm.
The tide of war was changed.
yep.
We killed
True.
it, y'all.
I also want to
Did.
add that. I also want to add that 'cause I don't want to reveal too much because once again, spoilers. But it's probably more of a season 2 post thing. But at the very least, I'm gonna just say Rufa's opinion on Jonabis is he actually sees a lot of her in his past self, actually.
Interesting.
Ooh, yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, it'll be interesting to see. I'm actually kind of curious about Sam's answer to this question as well.
Yeah.
Alignment shifts.
Alignment shift. So I feel like Ichi at the beginning might more have been around like the true neutral end of things, because she has a lot of selfish elements, right? Like her being a luchador and being from like a famous family is all about her and, you know, her performance and being out there in the world. And she, you know, her most negative qualities were, you know, treating Shanti like a, you know, her intern for so long, and not really being perceptive and aware of other people's feelings. And you know, maybe there's like an important thing to do, but she's like, but I need to go to the cafe, the Starbucks first. Basically things like that. And I think that maybe she, like, I could see her going more towards maybe that neutral good end of things, where the shifting of selfishness to responsibility. To before, it might have been more like her thought process might have been like, I'm not really like, I don't care that much, but these people are cool and I like hanging with them and I'm gonna help them because they're my friends, versus like, oh no, I'm a hero and I have to do hero things. So I think that's kind of the shift that has happened a little bit. I think that there's more to be done for her with that, for certain. And I think that maybe after, when like season 2, after they've saved the world, she's probably got to deal with the fact that like she's a hero, she saved the world, but like she still doesn't have like what about the brand deals? There was this career path she was on and heading towards, and that's not the direction it's gone anymore. It's gritty, it's dirty, it sucks sometimes to be a hero versus like the glamour of what she always thought she'd be doing. So maybe she'll be kind of facing that a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward in season 2 to trying to create new individual challenges beyond your all spin-off arcs. Because I know that I've been thinking all about this a lot for season 2. I want to make sure that I create something that not only is something that we can all kind of share in the storytelling arc together with, but also creates moments where you as the players have more agency in your own personal interests, which I would imagine eventually turns into an arc. Like I know Sidney likes to solve stories and solve mysteries and learn more about things and learn lore. So I want to put her in a position for that. Same for you, same for Kylie, same for Michael. And I want to create bits and pieces where you not only have a stake in the greater story arc, but in the personal story arc that you can follow as well. So yeah, I'll be reaching out and make sure like we're on the same page there, so the plan makes sense. But if I did, so Michael was asking for Morel as well.
Yeah.
Do y'all want some information on Morel?
Sure.
I mean, yeah.
All right. So I've been working on Morel, Tobias, Antigone, Hera, Marina Legorunu, and Iswa, all the NPCs for a long time. Morel Harkisian, his name literally translates into the Redeemer of the First Family.
Huh.
His alignment is neutral good, which in Pathfinder 2 as a champion means you are a redeemer. His entire message is about redemption. It's about taking a group of people or a person or anyone's life or anyone's history and learning to separate the sins from the sinner, learning to separate the transgressions from the transgressed. How do you take anyone, any human being in this world with a history that could be toxic, that could be volatile, that could be vitriolic, and learning that that history does not apply to that person, and loving them in the present, loving them as who they are now. It doesn't matter. In this world, we have a massive hate fetish for people. Oh, we love to hate people. We love it. And because when we hate, we're right. And when we're right, we're good. And Morel is supposed to be the antithesis of this entire conversation, where you can hate someone and be wrong, where you can feel good about hating someone and be wrong, because you are judging them based upon history that they didn't approve of, they didn't consent to, that they're not a part of, maybe by proxy, but not directly. It doesn't matter who you throw this metaphor against. You could throw it against anyone throughout history. Everyone has done something terrible. And hating them for their past and not for the hard work they're doing in their life is something we've been suffering through incorrectly. Morel is about redemption, forgiveness, and the positive love that can happen once we learn to forgive, to redeem, to love. That's why he is the Redeemer. That's why he worships the goddess of redemption and forgiveness and healing. There's a whole story going on with him. You've gotten the tip of the iceberg. You know about his time in Ori, you know about his Akkadian roots. But there's so much more to him, and he's meant to be basically what happens when you shout against the world. Like, yeah, the past is ugly, it's brutal, it's terrifying, it's terrible. That's not me. And the present, the future, is this amazing thing that we can do together if you just stop using hate as your metric and use love and rehabilitation as your path. I've had a few beers, so I'm getting a little preachy. But Morel was neutral good, and my goal is to keep him as neutral good because I want him to be the pinnacle of redemption, especially redeeming the first family, which is so fucked up, of Acadia, especially the king of Acadia, Nimrod the 14th.
Nimrod.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. No, I get it.
You know, it was a thing though. It was actually the name of a hunter. There's a whole thing around it.
Yeah.
It's not what we associate it with it now. It's because of that
Yeah.
legend that we.
I
It's like
understand.
we used Nimrod as an idiot because King Nimrod was an idiot. But
Yeah.
Nimrod in Old Babylonian means the hunter of God, the person who
Yeah,
goes to kill God.
Whew.
Because
Yeah.
the whole idea was that King Nimrod thought that God was a fallacy, and he built the Tower of Babel to literally go to the top and punch God in the dick.
Oh.
And he failed, at least in some context. But the thing is that the whole idea of Nimrod is this idea of someone who believes that God should be killed.
Mhm.
And
Right.
that's why a
Salem.
little lore of Acadia. There's been 14 King Nimrods, and every time a King Nimrod takes place, Acadia becomes 1000% anti-religion.
That's true. Good
PJ,
point.
I just want to throw in a little wrestling reference. In the words of MJF,
Mm-hmm.
you're the pinnacle. You're always on top.
That's funny.
MJF, is that?
AEW was one of my favorite wrestlers.
Yes.
Basically, the next generation of Ric Flair.
Oh, interesting. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that that's the
Michael.
case.
Have you talked about your alignment transition yet?
I haven't yet, but I want to. But before I do, I want to throw this over to Ian, because Ian, PJ, and we actually had a video where we talk entirely about
That's right.
annihilants.
On
It was in the
Table.
chat. I think it was
On
in the
at the
chat for that
table.
conversation.
Yeah.
So
There we go, Ian. Let's
All right.
go. Let's go.
Everyone-
Our lecture
no,
on alignment.
Everyone
No,
get your
this
pen and
actually
papers. It's
turns around.
time.
this actually turns around because I surprised myself at some point. I've used the same character sheet since day one. It's stained, it's like screwed up, there's like torn edges, curled, the whole thing. I looked for pencil marks. I've held it up to the light. I never wrote down Woodward's alignment.
Interesting.
Unaligned.
Yeah, no, that's the problem. I have argued for the alignment system the entire time I've been on Edge of Legends, and I have zero
It's
written
freaking
down.
blank.
Just an empty space. There's not even an impression of a pencil left over.
Goddamn
It's
hypocrite.
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Is I have a confession. It's like this makes me to be a horrible person. Like I will judge you all. I am above it.
Hypocrite.
Yeah,
Wow.
complete hypocrite. PJ saying that Woodward was true neutral. And I was like, I think so. I think that's right. And that's what caused me to pull up my character sheet. Oh fuck.
What?
Son of a bitch. God damn it. And I think I stated it before, but I definitely wanted Woodward as an actual character. He was chaotic neutral or true neutral. And true neutral is the fact that I want to embrace nature, right? Sometimes the gazelle just loses to the lion, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just a fact. Sometimes the gazelle gets away, which ends up producing more gazelle that can outrun lions. Like that's just how it is. And that's where I kind of want to take Woodward in that true neutral stance of just like, he's happy-go-lucky because he has to see the good in a true neutral world to keep moving forward. He understands the true neutral edge, but seeing the good and the growth and the fact that, yes, the gazelle lost, but the lion had cubs.
Yeah.
That good side of things he has to keep running with to make sure he is not polluted by the other thing. Well, yeah, the lion had cubs, but the gazelle didn't have like fowl of its own.
Yeah.
So like there's that back and forth. And so I think Woodward went from a neutral good very much arguing with people, but that's also why he did the whole Madazong thing and everything, was that neutral good or true neutral standpoint. Look, go, be free. At the end of the day, we fought against each other, and I know better than you because I've railed against you just as much as you've railed against me.
Yeah.
Who am I to condemn you for your actions? At one point or another, I could have been on the other side. That kind of thought process is that true neutral that I tried to keep Woodward on, but it definitely started to stray into the neutral good because he kept getting signs of hope with what everybody in the party was doing. We were making advancements, we were making change, we were saving lives. We weren't just it's funny because we weren't just living in that true neutral standpoint of what gives is what's taken back and forth. It moved into the, well, if we give more, we can outweigh what has been taken. So I think Woodward would have gone through that neutral good side of things as he progressed. And I think the people around him would have taught him to embrace.
It's definitely difficult to remain true neutral when you are put into a worldly conflict that demands you to choose a side, especially
Right.
when your context already kind of lends more towards a good. You know, you want to be good. Everyone wants to be good. And if you're like, well, I'm true neutral, then at some point someone is going to ask you to pick a side, at least on a topic, one topic. And with regards to that topic, you're gonna have to go neutral good or neutral evil. And in this case, it's like world peace. I mean, how can you not be neutral good on that topic?
Right. And that's the side of things with the true neutral stance. And the reason that it's so hard to take and follow through with in something like this is that at one point or another, every single person that Woodward set free or gave benefit of the doubt, it wasn't Korikos, it wasn't Zaka, it wasn't those who were planning for this, it wasn't the forward thinkers, those who had the motive, those who had the end game in plan. It was always the people who got wrapped up by, I fear the quote, but a cult of personality. Right.
Yep. Oh yeah.
It is that running tide, that ever building pressure that can be put on an individual to either join or fall away. And unfortunately, in a lot of what the orcs did, which I think has a lot more to say in a larger grand scheme of things, is the fact that they weren't just left to go away. They were killed.
Yeah.
They were done with. They were now less than and removed from the equation. And I think that's where Woodward starts to find his heart. Because if we were in the opposite, if the group was in the opposite side of things, we did get defeated, we would have been killed and left behind just as much as they are by their own side. Whether they understand the inner workings of what the end game is, they supported what they were told rather than what they fully understood.
And in some cases, especially the Red Rock tribe, what they were forced to believe in by threat of death. You know, you had the Blackspear tribe, which was kind of brought into it in ignorance. You had the Red Rock tribe that was brought into it by fear of death, and the Black Rock tribe, or the Blue Rock tribe, that was brought into it by ignorance of gains. They were like, the wisdom says that you're paying us to be a navy. Yeah, sure, we'll probably lose a few blue rocks, but like if it means success, if it means strength, if it means peace, then we're going to take that because of course we're just, you know, we're an hire and you're hiring us. And it wasn't until they stopped doing the actions around everywhere else that Madazong was like, there's no wisdom in this. The gold's done. This guy's a dick. This war is pointless. And you know, I got roughed up a little bit to figure that out, and I'm glad I did because there's a much better option. And now that I know it's there,
I think a lot of it is running with questions that none of us have asked, at least on stream, right? What pressures was this group put under to submit? Mm-hmm. And that goes all the way down and trails all the way back to Lofen. What happened inside of the court to put him so far at the bottom that he was so fearful of what could destroy him, he was willing to work with the other side to guarantee his safety?
Absolutely.
That, like there's so many sides of that. Of it's easy to go, oh, well, he's just at the bottom, so of course he's going to sell out. But why? But why
Yeah.
is he at the bottom? What did he do? And if we don't have the answer of what he did, why did everyone put him there? There's so much. Yeah.
There's always a psychology and a reason why people fall into the positions that they fall into, and that's kind of something that like is on the onus of everyone around them as well as them. You know, is it their responsibility? Yes, but there is also kind of accessories to that crime in the world around them.
And I'm not saying that everybody, like, I'm not in any way, shape, or form ever saying that you like that there are people in this world who get off scot-free for their own actions.
Of course not.
I do not believe in that, because there's choices made.
Of course.
Everyone has. But at one point or another, especially in the terms of this story, when you look at the War Council and Koga and all of those people, and you get the powerhouses that are the Ice Queen and Lord Dominus and all of these powerhouses, and he's just the guy, I'm filling in blanks here, this is not canon, he's just the guy who handles the tax code. Well, of course he's forgotten. Of course he's shit on.
Ian,
because the part of his world is extremely important, but it's underlying compared to everybody else.
Yeah.
So he does feel he's at the bottom, and proving himself forward and higher than that could take working with the enemy to do so.
True.
Yeah.
Michael, you've been trying to say something, Michael.
I want to say everything you said is one of the reasons why the Loaf Man is one of my favorite NPCs, because honestly, I love the idea of the mundane, the overlooked. Yeah, they're mundane, they're overlooked, but oftentimes they're that important piece of the cog that without them, nothing works.
That's a really good point. And honestly, I mean, it really does speak to the depth of this world. That there are characters like that there are characters that have that highlight that aspect of humanity, because it exists. It exists everywhere. I mean, there's a reason we see that trope in TV and in storytelling. It's because somewhere in reality someone has related to it and has done it.
That's one of the tropes where, you know what, follow the money.
Follow the money.
Yeah.
Always follow the money.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the difference between Rufa and Shionobis, is because Rufa's like, yes, Lofen, he's able to sneak his way into anything, where Shionobis is like, no, this man is a straight traitor to his own country, like, and you're just gonna like let him go stock free? Like, that's not how, like, hers is through like a ruler standpoint, where she's like, no, he will pay for it, even if it's by my own freaking hand. He will die by my hand, and he will pay for his, like, for essentially him being a traitor.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the difference between her and Rufa.
And I think that's really important, because I feel like it's really easy in maybe campaigns, correct me if I'm wrong, because I do have limited experience, but you know, we didn't build our characters to be buddy. We built our characters to be real people, and we might butt heads. That doesn't mean that we're like, you know, interpersonally having conflict, but our characters are having conflict because they have their own set of ideals based on their past experiences, and because they have that conflict, it makes the story richer and have more reality. It's based in reality because that's how people are.
Yeah.
You know, like we've become friends over the course of this campaign, but you know, in real life, if our characters would have met, like, we have no basis for, you know, like, why should Shionobis trust Rufa, who has been acting real fucking shady for the past like however many episodes.
We all just kind of look the other way.
I'm running in. I want to jump in here real quick because I had to use the restroom right before, and, and Kylie was saying a thing, and I was like, but it also speaks so much to Shionobis's people, and all of the elven kind have been fighting a war that clearly has sides. Those who cut down the trees, those who defend the trees. There is a clear line. It is not in the sand. It is carved into stone, and those who choose are painted for life. Like that is how they are, which speaks so much for, because you subconsciously created all of these things inside of Shionibus, right?
Right.
So at one point or another, and I don't want to get too heady with this, right? But and I realize I've already gone way too far. But the that is why Shionibus sees Lofin as one or the other.
Mhm.
There's a line, and that line is stone, and it's because Shionibus's entire life has lived with that line carved in stone.
Mhm.
So there
Oh,
is
yeah.
no gray area. There is no
Yeah.
Senate. There
Right.
is no. We're not deciding wars. We're not deciding who backs us. That it is demons or elves.
Right.
Done. Like
Mhm.
that is a
Yeah.
clean cut, good versus bad, fighting for the next day situation
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
doesn't translate well into the human world.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you really think about it, that this goes way back even before she was alive. This is something that just the elven kind in general. So this is generations on generations of this is it. It's either this or this. There's no in between. You can't cross this line. If you do, you will be ostracized. Like that
Yeah.
is it. And
Right.
so this is all she knows, is that it's either this or that. And if you're not, and if you are that and not this, you will die. Like
Yeah.
Here's a really quick little peek into just kind of Rufa's backstory. Everything you just said is a reason why I said that Chonibus reminds Rufa of him.
I'm excited for you guys to see kind of where Shionibus is at.
I'm excited to see where all of
Where all of
y'all
us are
are
at.
going. Everyone's got so much, behind
Also-
their character, and we kind of like accidentally went to Osmocon, so I hear.
Oh,
Yeah, y'all, when you were like, let's do Ichi's side story, I'm sitting here like taking notes going, that's not supposed to happen for another year.
Okay.
Okay.
So the thing that made me laugh so hard is, and I think Sidney has, because she was in on this meeting, I get super fired up and start going crazy with creativity when I can build on my friends' ideas. I'm not an idea creator myself, but I love putting details in, and like I love extrapolating and like moving in. I cannot be the person who creates, but I can be the person who pushes forward. PJ comes up with Asmacon and starts talking about it. And at one point or another, we were talking about, well, why can't you go from Asmacon to all of the rest of this freely? And I was like, easy, Sand Sea.
Yep.
And so PJ and I are talking about it, and I'm like, this is the dopest thing I've ever thought about. Water rises and takes a sand. It basically becomes an entire sea of quicksand. There are monsters moving in and out of it. And I'm writing this to kill me later and not realizing it. And then all of a sudden we're like, we're going to Asmacon. They go, hell yeah. Oh, son of a bitch. Like I was at that point, I was like, I set up the largest article, or the obstacle in my head that I was going to face myself. And I was fight at tooth and nail to make Woodward be like, I'm scared of boats. I don't know how this works.
Oh my god!
It was
I want
one meeting.
Another amazing look behind the curtain. So Ian comes to me. He's like, I want to build the world map of the entire Edge of Legend world. I'm like, yes, let's do that. Let's talk about maps. Let's do it. So it was me, him, and Sidney, and we're talking about this. And I gave credit where it's due. It was Sidney's idea to be like, I had this idea, Sand Sea, and I was like, yes. Let's go from there. And so that whole episode where you were in a boat and it was basically a metaphor for Moby Dick was entirely due in part to Ian, myself, and Sidney riffing on what maps could look like. And I'm still looking forward to that map, because now that you've mentioned it, Ian, my brain's still going, okay, where does everything exist? I know what it is, but where is it?
I am so sorry that I missed Sidney's section of that story. Honestly, I think, but it goes to prove my point in the side of like, I extrapolate on anyone else's ideas that are around me. So I think it was one of those like sitting quietly and then going, let's do this. Also, I have an excuse to put tremors into anything I play. So we'll throw that one out there.
When in doubt, Kevin Bacon. That's all you need.
I really quick, I want to build on what Ian and Kylie said when they were saying that Chonibus is like, it's built for Chonibus. There's a line. It's carved in stone.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say, for Rufa, that line is a little bit more flexible, mainly for the fact that while he does love the party, I think he generally has a fondness for everybody.
Mhm.
Because of his past, he still also sees everybody as tools.
So
Yeah.
so the other thing PJ was talking about in all of this and everyone's perspectives on it, and the fact that it wraps back around to how the world perceives you. And as those who are in a Discord know, I will go on multi-hour long tangents over music.
Yeah.
So
The best way.
bear
it.
with me because I'm about to quote a band. But it was specifically this came up in my head, and it's because it's beautiful and it fits our story so well.
Aw.
Turrisis, a metal band out of Finland, they have a stanza inside of one of their songs, and it's the stanza goes, "History just what's agreed, yet it will judge both you and me. Shields and swords will win you wars, but in the end, the battles for our hearts, fought by bards."
Aw.
Yes.
That's the
And
most
it's
anime
that,
sounding bullshit.
but it's that side
Love
of thing.
it.
It's that side of thing of at the end of the day, whatever happened in that fight during Korikos, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
The facts don't matter. It's a story that's told and accepted afterwards.
Nice.
And now you guys are going to have to live with the repercussions of all that.
It's really great. It's really great that you mentioned that, because this whole time when I've been building season 2, very little bit, one of the things that to look out for, you legends in the chat and you heroes of tomorrow, you will run into a bard. You'll run into a handful of bards. You'll run into a lot of bards, but run into one bard, and they're going to be your biggest fan.
Is he going to be?
No,
Kobold
no,
based
stop
on-
right there. You're making
No.
one Witcher Witcher reference. No.
No,
That
not Witcher.
reminds me.
At the table,
Oh, no.
Billy
Probably
Idol
not.
Kobold.
No, it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
him. No,
This
definitely not
reminds
him.
me of something we've got to get on the stream, but I've just completely forgot about because I think some like weird event happened like right after this happened. Was Avon wrote a Ichi song.
That's right. Even
Yes,
did.
they did.
And we gotta get it in the show. We gotta get it
too.
played. So we'll circle back on that.
We're gonna
Yeah,
definitely
we
do
totally
that.
should.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know Avon is a dear human that we know, and they wrote an incredible ballad of Ichi, and it made all of our hearts so warm. And so yes,
Yeah.
maybe we can get them on and they can sing it. But
And they're a
yeah.
real life
have-
bard,
have
and
them
they've
NPC.
designed 2 different games that you can
Bard of
play.
many things. They made
Yes.
prosperity and cantankerous cats. And if you like board games, go buy their stuff. God damn it.
I would
Absolutely.
love to see him guest star one day if possible. Something.
Mhm.
If we can get
Yeah.
them and it works out, I'd love for that. Sam, were you gonna say something else?
No.
Okay. let me ask you all 2 questions.
Oh.
One, because I think we've had a lot of amazing questions from the legends in the chat. Thank you guys so much. First question is going to be, what do you want your character to personally experience in season 2? And by that I mean, what do you want to play with, engage with? It can be as something as simple as like your own character arc, like a 4 or 5 episodes about your character. It can be a side quest. It can be a personal growth. What do you want to experience in season 2? And once everyone's answered that, I'll ask the next question.
Oh boy.
Oh, and I think I just realized I never said anything about Rufa's alignment.
I'm pretty sure it's neutral, chaotic, something money making.
Yeah. But what's this new question, Michael? What do you want in season 2?
Well, in season 2, I'm just gonna say, Rufa picked up a dedication. I want to play that out.
Ooh,
Mm.
fun.
Okay, I know about that. Okay, I'll play that out a bit more. And also something that if you don't mind me, Michael, saying something I want for you.
Mhm.
I don't know how, I don't know when, because what I really want is to have less of a linear storytelling and more of you guys kind of picking the next step on the story. And since, with a lot more freedom on that, eventually, if the story proves right, you guys will go to Shin. in
Okay.
season 2. So I'd really
Mm.
like to kind of, at least for you, have some very personal growth in Shin and some of your backstory, kind of like that comeuppance kind of landing.
Really quick, like about the whole alignment thing. This is something I was sitting on. I just wanted to say really quick. I'm just gonna paraphrase what I was gonna go into a long explanation of. Is Rufus start off in this game as lawful neutral, but I've always built him kind of. He's that guy that's just bad day, one bad day
Mm.
from crossing the line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just
I
one bad
believe
day.
that. What about you,
Yeah.
Sam? What do you want in season 2?
Oh, I love shenanigans.
You
I'll be
do.
real.
You're a
I
beautiful human who loves chaos.
I'm trying to put together a tradition that Sam built, but I can't because I'm sitting down. So
oh
the
wait.
shenanigans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love shenanigans. So I really like the idea of the opportunity for, like there's we just fought a war. Maybe we need to do something stupid next.
Got it.
Stupid is fun.
That's always
Light some
me.
shit on fire,
Lighthearted.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Nah,
just like
intrigue.
Battle Fun's
Intrigue.
first bat races.
I love the comedy anything. So yeah.
Okay. I've definitely thought about having different kart races, especially since one of you has a need for speed. But I think bat races could also be really fun. Okay, cool. Kylie, what do you want?
It's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
Shiono's standpoint, she really wants to see Alona grow.
Okay.
And so for her, it's wanting to be involved in any of that and seeing her grow into her own person rather than being this cloistered cleric.
Okay. I love that. And her own person. Well, obviously that story arc will be dependent upon the choices that Sidney makes. But that is still a very good thing that you and Ichi can get involved with, much like when you tried to force her to dance with Morel during the rave at Mollymoss.
Yeah.
That was super, super cute.
It's either a decision she makes or does 13 damage to.
13 damage. Well, you killed the roleplay scene. Sidney, what is Alona one for season 2?
Oh God. I mean, more growth would be great. I think it would be really interesting just to see, what circumstances and what roleplay opportunities Alona could find herself in, especially with Jonas. Because the thing about Alona is that the thing that I've noticed about most of my characters, is that she's very innocent, and she spent so much of her life reading all of these books, and I want her to be able to have opportunities to learn with Shionibus, because yes, Shionibus is a real life princess, just like Alona has always read about. But Alona needs to learn what the realities of being a princess looks like. Same with Ichi. What are the realities of being a famous fighter? Same with Rufa. What are the realities of being a famous general? And I do want her to learn what the reality of life is, as opposed to the romanticized version of life that she's gotten. So for me, I love roleplay opportunities, and I want roleplay opportunities with my cast. Because thankfully, PJ, you were very good at bringing really talented people together. And I want opportunities to play with everybody. And Ian, whenever you come back, we're going to roleplay a whole lot. And you're going to teach me run amok because we haven't finished our game.
It's true.
That was
It's
like
true.
episode 4. We have never finished our run amok game.
Yeah. It'll
Yeah.
happen.
Second question for you all. Unless Ian, you have something for season 2 that you'd like to see Woodward do when he pops in.
I don't know if I have. I've actually thought of anything for Woodward.
Okay.
in particular. But I think overall it is there are things that I think would be awesome for the individuals around Woodward to achieve
Mhm.
at one point or another. And I think it's end game stuff, but it's also the fact that it is what at one point or another Woodward has perceived in these other people around him that he can see what they could achieve. And while I'd love to get into it, I also totally agree and like agree with the idea of subconscious thought. And I don't want to throw it out there because I'd rather come in and be completely surprised if they've gone in the direction or against the direction that I thought, rather than planting a seed now and then coming back in 2 months and going, damn it, I shouldn't have done that, just to see what you guys come up with on your own.
Okay.
PJ, can I
Mhm.
add something to my request really quick?
Sure.
I want to see Rufa make some really hard choices. I want like no win scenarios.
Okay. I do have something in mind.
Damn.
I do have something already for that.
Right, dude,
I just asked that when that moment comes up, that you know that reality is grappled with.
Yeah.
Michael's just
know-
like,
I've
fuck me
never-
up, fam.
Yeah, I've never
like-
seen someone punch themselves in the kidney, but it just occurred. It was just like a just complete gut shot of just
He's like, now PJ, I want to fuck around and find out.
oh, I never,
Yeah.
I never want to be
Well,
right.
I think that's one of the things that's one of the pillars, so to speak, of Rufa's character.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just ask that when that time comes up, we go through that together as hard and fast and as honest as we can.
Someone's
know
gotta
that
fail
I-
sometimes.
Because every time I was like, okay, let's see what happens here. He's like, I am going to ignore this, and it's like, okay, that's a choice. We're gonna deal with this later.
It's
So let's see what
fine.
happens in
Catch up.
season 2.
Things will catch up, Tim.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Also, nice eating cheese off a knife, Michael.
Mhm.
Yes. Very apocalypse now. Very
Style, always with
apocalypse
style.
So I think my next question. Gosh, I want to say someone asked this already. I might be paraphrasing a bit. What was your personal favorite moment for your character in season 1? So, like, what was your favorite? Like, each moment is Ichi. What was your favorite Woodward moment? Is Woodward, etc.
I actually loved my where I had to give up the cringe moment in the temple, I believe it was.
Mhm.
I felt like I was totally at a loss of what to say, and then it just all kind of bleh, came out, but it lended itself very well to like that type of thing. So yeah, I liked that as a character thing that kind of showed that turning point of like, oh, I have treated some people like crap before. Well, fuck.
Awesome. Okay. Cool.
What's the question again?
What was your favorite? And I think the chat asked this question. I might be paraphrasing. What was your favorite moment for your character in season 1?
In season 1, Jesus. For me,
Kicking that orc's head in.
damn. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, killing Korkos did feel like really cool fucking storytelling. Like that felt really cool.
Right.
And like the way that ended, I was like, wow, that seems cool. But I feel like I have a few favorite moments. I feel like learning that Shunibus was a princess was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Because the way Kylie was like, no, gave me a sense of deep satisfaction.
Shut the fuck up.
But my other favorite role-playing moment was on the Ferris wheel with Morel, because I really liked playing up that innocence and that intimacy. I think that was really fun for me to play. And also, Bearded Skull, Ian mentioned in chat, Golgotha is a part of our world, at least in Galarion. This isn't technically a part of season 1. But in the pirate one-off that we did in September, I had a lot of fun playing No Beard the pirate, who was a flaming lesbian who just loved her wife Golgotha and who ran an emporium. Golgotha ran the emporium. I had a lot of fun doing that. But yeah, those are my highlights and tininess.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I'll make sure to keep that in mind. So just for the edification of everyone here in the chat, once this question is fully answered, we're gonna call it, because I know it's definitely late. It's about that time. So let's wrap up everyone's question and answer to season 1. Kylie, what was your favorite Shonibus moment in season 1 for you?
I have already talked about it once. It's not with any NPC, but a PC instead with Woodward. It was definitely the moment where he was like, "Yo, you need to get your life together because we're stuck. We're stuck together." So,
Okay.
so
Awesome. Michael, what was your favorite moment in season 1 for Rufa?
I kind of want to. There's been a couple. One of them definitely was the whole. I did enjoy the becoming the manager of Sun Wukong. That was really fun.
Yeah.
But also I really liked the, like, honestly, whenever Rufa was able to make oodles of money, being for a fact that that's just a personal fantasy of mine, making oodles of money. Just saying, I want to be rich. Like, if I had a wish, I want to be rich.
I really wanted you to say oodles of noodles.
But
So
oodles of
delicious.
noodles of noodles.
Okay, so very quickly, Ian, what was your favorite moment for Woodward in season 1?
That's honestly really hard for me to pin down. And I've thought about it as everyone else was answering this, in the fact that I don't think Woodward had his own moments, but I think every moment where I felt Woodward shined was pushing somebody, as in one of the people around him, in the direction they should be going. So like what Kylie says is definitely like a favorite moment, and it's specifically because we've got to see it we've gotten to see how it unravels from so far back. But there's also the moment of talking to Ichi about Ichi's uncle and what it means to pass, and that they're not gone but they're here, and having the moment of we got fanfic from Mahooch, but it's the side of like Woodward and Rufa are always on the edge of whatever crazy idea comes up with, we're going to go do it, right? So there's moments of that, and then there's the other thing of Alona teaching Woodward the heart of a situation, the side of being true neutral means at some point you are being complacent with what's happening around you, and that is not good enough.
Yeah.
And that was a cool moment for Woodward. So I think I feel like the moments that I have are tied directly to the role play sessions I've had with everybody here.
Yeah.
Even with some of the NPCs like Morel talking to Woodward, and like specifically Tobias as well. At one point or another, they had their agreement. Right?
Ian,
Yeah.
I just want to say Woodward and Rufa, they're the two old guys from the Muppets.
Yeah, totally. No, it's like through and through. And I think that those connections are made with his character throughout the game at one point or another. And so those are my favorite moments for his character, is just when at one point or another through role play, people were pushed forward to succeed.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. I'm taking notes and everything because I'm working on season 2 a lot. Me?
What about you?
I mean, anytime we leave the show feeling great about what we've done, the stories we've told, the combat that we've survived, I feel as a GM that I have done a good job, and that makes me feel really good. My job, my position is 1000% hinged upon, whether I like it or not, how you all feel about what we've just done. If you guys did nothing but role play at a bazaar and shopping and had a great time, then I just had the best fucking day of my week. If I gave you this amazing conflict and battle and you're bored and you're upset and you're feeling it doesn't really fit the character or it's problematic in other ways, that guts me. But it's, it's a mistake I fucked up on, and I just have to step over that. I have to move forward. I have to learn from that. I have to bury that, and I have to do better than that. My reality as a GM is telling a story that I believe in, with people that I believe in, with viewpoints that I believe in, and hoping to holy God we step out of this with something that is amazing, exciting, and keeps us feeling the joy of what we do. That's what it is. It is the Agrippa Pano Bear story with the Ferris wheel and Woodward almost dying of poison and showing him dancing with Ravon, who was lying to her the whole time. It is the cringy travesty that was Fort Raggedy and going, fuck, I can never do that again. I can't ever fucking do that again. And it is everything in between. And in season 2, we'll see. This I will say, because we have to wrap it up, and we're way over time.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to let these awesome legends go to bed. Season 2, we have a lot of questions to answer. Number 1, who is the Green King? Number 2, are you kidding me? Twice in a row? Get in my book. 2, what is Romaga's Day? Number 3, what happened to the promise that Tobias put on sword with you all about being forced to go back to the Platinum Hammer? Number 4, what is life now that the war is over? And before I close this out, food for thought for these amazing legends. Think about this. Now that the war is over, the time difference between season 1 and the filler gap before we start season 2 is going to be 6 months. You're going to have 6 months of life that you choose to spend with an NPC or by yourself, life that you choose to spend with friends or in a city. What is your character doing in that 6-month time period? Because you've saved the world from total war. You deserve a holiday. So what are you doing in that 6-month time period? Who are you spending that time with? What are you working towards? And then when we get back 2 weeks from now with the hiatus, we're about to go on through the holidays and the New Year's and enjoying things. When we come back 2 weeks from now, what has your character been through when you were all asked to come together once again?
This is like your elementary school teacher giving you homework of what you did over the summer.
Oh.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You're going to have to read Shiloh and write a book report.
Yeah, you all just got sent home with a reading list.
Yup.
Hey, at least not Tuck Everlasting. Every freaking summer, every class.
Every summer.
Mhm. Yeah.
Alright.
So while y'all are sending secret notes to each other, you can shoot me a private message with what you've been doing in those 6 months. And that being said, we're going to close it here because it's way beyond the time we should have ended.
Yeah.
So we got stuck talking and we lost track of time. Edge of Legends is going to go on a 2-week hiatus so that we can enjoy the holidays, the New Year's, and we're going to come back January. Make sure I have the right date. So January 12th, I think I'm getting my dates right. Because next Wednesday is going to be the week we're off. January 5th, the week we're off. We're going to come back January 12th. Season 2 and the gap content to season 2 as well. Effie Burton asked, what's the story with the show on Monday? In 2022 in January, on the end of January, we're going to be launching a new show on Monday. Same time, 8 to 11 p.m., different crew of people, different cast of characters. And I'm trying really hard to keep it a secret, but just know that we are going to be working in tandem with another awesome group of Pathfinder people called Goblins and Gays. So Goblins and Gays and Naturally Productions are going to work together for a Monday night show. When we get closer to it in January, I'll start making the official announcements. And without further ado, let's get the hell done so people can go to hell to sleep. Starting with Sam Sterling, who are you and where can we find you in that sweet, sweet internet?
Hello, I am Sam Sterling, and this is my bag of marshmallows. You can find me eating marshmallows for the next 2 weeks. That is all I will be doing. And online everywhere at Hey Sam Sterling. Thank you all for tuning into this season. I love you all. I love my cast. We'll miss you, Ian. But you're gonna be in the Maid one shot, right? Okay, good. That's all I need to hear.
Good. Kylie, please tell us who you are and where can find you on that sweet, sweet internet.
Hello, I'm Kylie, or I go by Kai. It really doesn't matter at this point. You can find me Kai's Wonderful Life all over the internet. When I am not here with these amazing cast, I am over at Chromatic Dice on Fridays at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time here on Twitch as we play D&D 5e. It's a homebrew. I play this spooky girl, and I love her so much. When I'm not there on Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on Twitch, I'm over at Asgard's D&D Adventures, where I play this gunslinger named Monroe Hawksmith, and she's a bad bitch, and I love her. And that is all.
Yes, wonderful. Next up, Michael Powell. Please let us know who you are and where we can find you on that sweet, sweet internet.
Well, as always, I am Michael Powell, and I actually have some homework for the audience and probably the cast as well. Hit us up in Discord let us know which Avengers character each of the legends are. Around everybody. And for the cast, not your character, but everybody else's character. Who do you think is like are the Avengers, basically? But anyway, let's see. My social medias are usually at Mr. Kapow, that's MrKapao, or my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Michael Pow Does Stuff, because I do a lot of stuff like my YouTube channels, which are Fantastic Tales of Adventure and also Dastardly Tales of Horror. And I believe right now, Thursdays, I'm still doing, let's see, I believe Toyzilla Live on Toyzilla Network at 6. And every other Friday, doing, Modern Age, the TTRPG, which is basically Mighty Max TTRPG on the Johananon channel. So yeah, hope to see you there.
Awesome. Sidney Rubino, please tell us who you are and where we can find you on that sweet, sweet internet.
Hello, my name is Sidney Rubino. You can find me all over the internet at Sidney Rubino. I'm wearing Edge of Legend merch right now. I just want to point it out. I'm wearing a tank top. PJ's wearing a t-shirt. I'm wearing it because I thought about celebrating my friends. But you can find me all over the internet at Sidney Rubino. And yeah, I'm very happy and like I feel very warm.
Are you a little worm in a box with me right now?
Yeah.
Are you in the box?
Little worm in a box. We're riding together. We're just having a good time, and we're just like warm. In the new year, I have some projects I'm going to be working on, but I'm not ready to discuss them yet. So I'll let you know.
So
Okay?
excited.
Yeah.
Last and certainly not least, and something that will become a rare treat to say in the future of 2022, Ian, awesome to have you on board. Let me know who you are and where we can find you on that sweet, sweet internet.
Hey everyone, my name is Ian, and I can be found on the internet at Bearded Scald in two amazing places. The Discord attached to this channel, which I will frequent regularly, and the second will be the chat right alongside you. I have absolutely no plans to go anywhere. If I have the free time, I will be giving everybody in this cast the hardest time I possibly can from the chat. I will have hero points and I will spend them.
Oh, yeah!
So,
Wait, really? Sorry.
Oh, hey, look, if I'm not in the cast, I'm sure I can win something here or there. So, anyway, guys, again, this is goodbye for now, far from farewell. So, that being said, outside of all of that, you can find me in any other amazing thing Edge of Legend puts on that I get the invite to. And I'll see you all guys later.
It's the first friend I made in the West Coast and the second brother I've ever had in my entire life. You're not gone. You're just not here for a bit. I'll see you when you come back, okay? You're always got room at the table, brother.
Now we're crying worms in a very muddy box filled with our tears.
Hey, like I always was told growing up as a kid, real men will cry and have real tears. But that being said, real emotions. That being said, my name is PJ Megaw. I am blessed by every god and every pantheon to be with these amazing people from all over the world. We tell stories about humanity, about psychology, about loss, love, and life. And it is a joy and an honor to be put at the forefront of that, despite all the craziness that it comes with. My name is PJ Megaw. You can find me all over the internet at pj.megaw, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And when I'm not there, I'm with these absolute legendary human beings that was put in my life for a purpose, infinitesimal or cosmic. And we're gonna be taking a 2-week hiatus. Until then, you can find me on Wednesdays, Tabletop Rolls, doing Strength of Thousands as a little Basenji Shuni mage that just wants to do stage magic for the next few weeks.
You mean you're playing the goodest boy?
I'll play the goodest boy. His name is Benji. He's a stage magician, and he believes that if the fireball is real, then what good is there to be stage magic? We need to believe in the lie that gives us hope again.
He just wants to show the world that sometimes finding your hidden card in a deck is more important than shooting a fireball. But you can see that 7 to 9 p.m. Monday nights until our new show pops off. You can see me and Mr. Michael Powell, of course, here at the table on Tuesdays. Thursday, Blue Collar DM on Twitch. I think we're taking a hiatus until holidays are over. But we, the legends, the heroes of tomorrow, the gods of our world, and the love that we fight for, will be on just a break for 2 weeks, coming back January 12th. So then, thank you. And is it January 12th yet? I'd like to be January 12th yet. All right, we're going to be rating, before I get all sappy and cry, we're going to be rating Smoking Dragons. I don't know what they're doing, and quite frankly, I don't care, because they are not as awesome as the people I've been spending the past 2 hours talking to.
They might be as awesome. We don't know.
That's true. In all fairness, they could be super cool, but you know what? Right here, right now, I don't love them as much, so they can suck it.
Oh,
I will fight them.
A delicious lollipop is what.
They can suck a delicious lollipop. Thank you, Sam.
they're playing a D&D, a game called Legend of Arcadia.
Legend of Arcadia. Awesome. My apologies to everyone that needed to get out about 30 minutes ago, but we're going to be rating in 3, 2,
Love you guys.
1. Love you.